Let's get it, 580 Sports Talk on a Friday afternoon. You've made it to the end of the week. Your reward, 3 hours of sports talk coming your way. We're with you until 6 o'clock tonight on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and live on video on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on Facebook at WIBW News. Greetings and salutations. So glad you're with us. However you're tuning into the program today, thanks for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Brendan Wrzinski, hanging out with you on this Friday afternoon. Spencer Dupuy will be along in a bit. Jam-packed Friday edition. I say jam-packed a lot. That's a word that I say a lot to describe the show. It's always
and we don't even
true.
have any Smuckers in the studio.
I know. We should get a jam sponsorship. Is there anybody around here who cans their own jam?
Oh, yeah. We'll cut you a sweet deal if you do.
No pun intended.
Nice.
If there's anybody out there who cans their own jam and would like to have us advertise your jam or jelly or other kind of preserves.
Preserves, yeah.
Yeah. We'll do it at the top of the program every day, apparently, because I love to say how jam-packed this show is.
You're not wrong, though.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm especially not wrong on this Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. We got two great guests coming your way today. Bottom of the 3 o'clock hour, Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. Our Chiefs insider will join us. We're going to have a Chiefs topic to lead the show. It was Aaron Schatz of ESPN writing about where all 32 NFL teams can still improve. I'm not sure there's actually a path to improvement at this spot, which begs the question, are the Chiefs actually okay at this position? We'll get Matt's thoughts on that, rookie minicamp, and all other Chiefs-related topics joining us at the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour. At the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour today, the AdventHealth 400 is at Kansas Speedway on Sunday. And earlier today, Brendan and I had a chance to chat with Ross Chastain, winner of last year's Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway, a 5-time winner in the NASCAR Cup Series, driver of the #1 Trackhouse Racing Busch Light Chevrolet. Ross Chastain took some time out of his busy weekend racing schedule to speak with us earlier today. So we're very excited to bring you that conversation. That one's coming up at the bottom of the hour. They get a little busy, the drivers, on a Friday.
Yeah.
So, we had recorded earlier in the day, but very excited to bring you that conversation. Ross Chastain, the
fun guy.
Yes, 8th generation melon farmer. So when you say he's one bad MF, you mean melon farmer.
Melon farmer. I will say this. I know who Ross Chastain is. I'm not exceptionally familiar with his work outside of his success at the Kansas Speedway. I always gravitate toward people who lean into their passion. Like, they love something, they love to do something, their work, a hobby, whatever, and they are all about it. And there's a point in our conversation where he's talking about how he got into it and how he knew this is what he wanted to do. And I mean, it's detail after detail, and you can feel it. Like, I love doing what I'm doing. So I'm really excited to get to hear this back because he's a fun guy.
And the especially neat thing is it could all end for him tomorrow, like racing could, and he would be just as happy to return to watermelon farming.
The patch.
You get that sense as well from talking to Ross. So it was a great conversation. We'll play that for you at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour, 4:35. Stay tuned for that. Mentioned we'll talk some Chiefs today. Royals also on the docket as they open a 3-game set tonight at the K against the Boston Red Sox. Royals winners of 6 in a row and 15 of their last 17, but not able to gain any ground in the Central. As I predicted on yesterday's show, Detroit did sweep that doubleheader in Colorado. So the Royals remain 2.5 games out of first place in the Central. They are caught up with Cleveland on percentage points, however. So they are in a statistical dead heat. The Royals have played 2 more games, have 1 more win and 1 more loss. But both teams are 2.5 games out of first place. Royals will try and continue their hot run of play against a Boston team that, unlike a lot of the teams the Royals have seen over the last 17 games, have a good enough offense to test what has been the American League's best pitching staff to date. They got some real sticks in that Boston lineup. And we'll introduce you to those guys and talk about if this is a challenge that the Royals pitching staff can navigate. So we got some baseball to get to on the show today. We're also, because we didn't get to it yesterday, we got to talk about the fact that the Pope is from Chicago. We have an American Pope, and that his baseball fandom, just like most Chicagoans, is a matter of great importance, one, and also apparently dispute.
I never knew. I mentioned this on the show. It came up briefly in headlines because, I'm a few credits shy of my theological degree. But I was mentioning that, hey, I'm not Catholic, but I'm celebrating this because I'm getting these jokes off one way or the other. I always wondered, what is the life of someone who becomes the Pope like? Mm-hmm. Like, Pope John Paul II, what was he doing when he was 18? What was he up to? I've always wondered that. This dude, that's really inappropriate. The Pope was literally going to White Sox games, and he was mentoring various people in southern Wisconsin and bringing them to the United Center to watch the Bulls.
He went to Villanova. He probably went to the Palestra, the Big Five.
Yes,
some basketball. Yeah,
I saw a post on Blue Sky today that's my mom might have dated him in high school. It's incredible. It's wow, this is here in front of us.
So we'll talk about why, though, because we do need you may not have a theological background, Brendan, but you are our Chicago correspondent.
That is true.
So we do need an explanation as to why it is a matter of such great importance.
Oh, don't worry. I've got the answer.
About which team it is that the Pope rooted for, which baseball team. Again, these are things that we have never before considered in the history of the papacy, right?
You think they can get MLB TV in Vatican City?
Blackout. You can't watch the Cardinals.
I was going to say, does that mean that the White Sox are blacked out? Is that the home team now?
The Cardinals are. The Cardinals are blacked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the home team. That's the home market, right? So we'll talk
from the 913 on the text line. He's got to exercise some White Sox demons. Yeah, trust me. Hey, they probably weren't feeling like he was a fan yesterday when they got housed.
Yeah, divine intervention may be required. So we'll get into that a little bit, have some fun with that. It's a Friday after all. We got to stretch our legs a little bit. Plus, all of the other things you've come to know and love from a Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. We'll have our sports headlines, including a playoff roundup in the 5 o'clock hour. Round of What Is Wrong With Yous. We'll crown a weekly champion, see if anyone can take down the cool mom. Plus, change my mind on second thought and more coming on 580 Sports Talk today. You can hit us on the text line. 785-272-9429 is the number. 785-272-9429. Can also interact with us in the chat on our YouTube stream. We are live on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. There is a chat feature on the web browser and mobile device. You're signed in. You can interact with us and your fellow listeners as we go along today. Welcome in to Vance, Paul, Tyler, and Ryan, and everybody else who will join us throughout today's show. And yes, Tyler, don't worry. We'll talk about the latest developments from the North Carolina football program today. I promise you we'll get to those in headlines.
Whoever the SID is for North Carolina football, all SIDs are underpaid. Trust me, I know. Whoever is the SID for North Carolina football is really underpaid. Let me tell you. Oof.
You thought it was just going to be roses and rainbows, and we've got the most famous football coach in the world coaching our team, and I'm not going to have to worry about anything. I'm certainly not going to be having to write press releases about someone who has nothing to do with football on May 9th.
If the worst I have to deal with is Michael Lombardi is going to be in the office, fine, I can live with it. Who is this woman? What is she doing here?
I wish I knew less about this.
Where are her parents?
Great question. We'll get into that in headlines, we promise you. Again, the text line, 785-272-9429. We want to start with the Chiefs today. We got our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, joining us in just about 20 minutes, as he does every Friday in the 3 o'clock hour on 580 Sports Talk. Yesterday, Aaron Schatz of ESPN published an article about where all 32 teams can still improve their rosters. Obviously, free agent crop is pretty well picked through. There are certainly recognizable names, maybe even more than you would realize. that still have yet to find homes, guys who were full-time starters last year, have been full-time starters in their NFL careers, who still have yet to find a new team. But by and large, the busiest part of free agency has concluded and the draft has concluded. So you've probably, if you're in a front office, felt like you have addressed things as best you will be able to address them to this point. But there's always an opportunity for a team, a forward-thinking team, an aggressive team to try and get better even in May and June and July before training camp gets underway. So all 32 teams, where can they improve? And for Aaron Schatz, he pointed to the Chiefs' left guard position as their position of need still this offseason. This is what Aaron Schatz writes. The Chiefs have strong starters everywhere, as you'd expect from a team that has been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. The biggest question is whether second-year man Kingsley Suamataia can be successful at left guard after struggling at left tackle last season. If Suamataia fails there, it falls to Mike Caliendo, who performed admirably during last season's playoff run after Joe Thuney was moved to tackle.
Maybe a little bit of a stretch.
Admirably, the word's doing a lot of work.
Sufficiently, maybe?
Sometimes sufficiency is admirable.
That's true.
Yeah, sometimes, if sufficiency is good enough to get you to
maybe literally,
the Super Bowl,
like literally he was in that position.
Yes. Mike Caliendo, who played left guard. He certainly did.
Of all the left guards, he was indeed one of them.
So those are the Chiefs' options right now at left guard. It doesn't feel like it's going to be anybody else, right, on the roster, like with all due respect to like a Hunter Norzad or whoever. It's either going to be Suamataia or Caliendo week 1 at left guard. Suamataia, a second-round pick last year, a week 1 starter last season, is going to get every chance to win this job. And if it's not going to be him, it's going to be Mike Caliendo. Can the Chiefs live with that? Do you think that's a good enough pair of options at that position in particular that the Chiefs can feel good about whoever wins that battle in training camp being their guy for 17 games?
I actually do. If this is the Chiefs' biggest issue, which I don't know that it is, in my opinion, I think you could make some arguments in different directions. But if we're going to use this as our talking point, that left guard is the biggest weakness, I'm feeling pretty good about that because for 2 reasons here. One, it's not like you're throwing Kingsley in there and he sucks at it, right? And like Mike Caliendo is unplayably bad. Like he's, Trey Pipkins or something over there. Like, no, these Storm Norton for another former Charger who stunk. He might be sufficient. He might be good at it. I mean, he was good in that horrible Week 18 game. We know the Chiefs at least flirted with the idea of putting him in the Super Bowl. Not that it would have mattered.
No.
But there's a chance that he is even if he's average, if your worst player on your offensive line is average, you're honestly doing pretty well, all things considered. You can live with that. And the other part of it too, and I'm not trying to say like guards aren't important, but if you were to say, all right, you have to point at your own offensive line. One of these 5 players can't be good. Maybe they're just a little below average. Maybe they're bad. They just can't be good. Who are you sacrificing to the football gods in that regard? I'm probably picking one of the guards, all things considered, because your tackles are extremely important. And in the modern NFL, with the way quarterbacks move, blind side is more important, but really they're both of nearly equal importance. You're not giving that up. Center is extremely underrated, especially for smarts. Like you got to be able to actually block, but a lot of times centers are doing something. For some teams, Philadelphia is an example of this. They're the ones who are changing the protection. Cam Jurgens, before him, obviously Jason Kelsey. Hurts does a little bit of that, but that's important. Creed Humphrey doesn't do all of that, but he's obviously important. His bond with the quarterback is important. We know the Chiefs want to run the ball at least a little bit. In certain situations, they want to run. They want to have a power downhill game when they do run, so you need good guards for that. But the Chiefs, in theory, have playable left tackle play, right? Like, we don't know what Jalen Moore is going to be, but ideally, the idyllic outcome here is he is a playable left tackle. Okay, good. Center, elite. had a bad Super Bowl, but one of the best centers, if not the best in the entire NFL. And he's paid like it in Creed Humphrey. Your other guard, Trey Smith, whether it's long-term, 1 year, whatever, that's a good player. That is a well above average to very good player at right guard. And your right tackle, Juwan Taylor, he's not perfect, but he's fine. He's above average. You can live with that. Yeah, that's a pretty good group. If you're able to make up for those deficiencies, it's not perfect, but you can make up for that. It's one of the few positions that you really have cover for. Not always, not every play, not every blitz, whatever, but more often than not, you're going to have cover for a weakness at guard that you don't have at either tackle spot or at center. So I actually am willing to live with this, whether it turns out to actually be a problem or if it's just the biggest question mark on this starting roster.
I am with you. I am also in a spot where I feel like the Chiefs will be fine with one of those two. I don't think they're going to get Pro Bowl caliber play by any means from either guy. I do think you can look at this from a glass half empty perspective and say the Chiefs went into last season uncertain about one spot on their offensive line, and it ended up submarining them at the worst possible time. And now they go into a season with uncertainty at two spots on the offensive line, and they're both right next to each other. Like you can say that, and that would be true. Now, the floor, I think, is higher at left tackle than it was last year because there wasn't really a good plan B.
Yeah.
And plan B was Wanye Morris.
Fair.
We saw what that was. But plan A was Kingsley, and if that bottomed out, you didn't have a great plan B. Well, now the Chiefs feel like they've got a plan A and a plan B at left tackle, and they have a plan A and a plan B at left guard. And I feel like they have a little bit more certainty than that would suggest, than a team going in with those jobs open necessarily. Like you could give me any combination of Caliendo and Suamataia and Moore and Simmons and tell me that's going to be the starting left side of the Chiefs offensive line. But I would feel okay about any combination you gave me because I do think the floor is a little higher. We saw Caliendo. We're giving him a hard time, but I do think that he can be a bang average left guard. And again, that's going to be all that is required because we've seen the Chiefs do more with less. It's not ideal to have to do more with less, but they can do it. We've seen them do it. So I think that's also a good thing because I went and looked at the free agent options that are available at guard. Most of them are right guards, and most of them are old or hurt.
Yeah.
Or old and hurt.
Right.
You've got Shaq Mason, who might have been the worst guard in the NFL last year.
Yeah, I'm not touching him with the 10-foot pole.
He's out there. Brandon Sheriff is out there. But again, you're dealing with an older player, getting more injury prone. Will Hernandez has started at left guard at least, unlike Mason's been exclusively a right guard. Will Hernandez is still out there in the market. He'd come fairly cheap, but he only played 5 games last year because he got hurt and had to miss the whole season.
Yep.
So you don't have that certainty there by any means. And we also know that the Chiefs prefer their own guys who know their own system and the offense and the verbiage and all of that stuff. That kind of continuity has been really important, and they've tried to preserve it where they can. You don't have continuity with the same starting left guard, obviously, but you have 2 guys who've been in the building, 2 guys who played that position in an NFL game, and that, I think, is a good enough starting point for left guard that I don't think it's something where the Chiefs need to go out and, call Will Hernandez's agent and see. It'd be a bad training camp ad if he's still out there just to provide a little insurance.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind that, but I don't think it's a position where I think the Chiefs need to act with an unusual amount of urgency trying to fill out the roster.
No, I think that's fair. I think you can live with it as is. The other part of this, too, is you hope that one of C.J. Hansen or Hunter Norzad can take a step forward and be your new Nick Allegretti and you might not want to play him for 16, 17 games, but do you need him for 4? You need him for, a 1 game while a guy has a bum hamstring or bum foot or something? Yeah, that you can slot that guy in. That's probably what you're hoping for the 2 of them. Hunter Norzad probably a little bit higher expectation, but we'll see. Shoot, maybe he's awesome in training camp and wins the job. Who knows? But you hope that there's a little bit of depth there. I think Caliendo is fine depth. I'm hopeful for Suomataia, obviously. So I think you can live with that group. Now, that being said, I've got two names for you. We've already been over one. I wouldn't hate it if the Chiefs went out and brought one of them in as depth, some, $4 million or less, non-guaranteed contract, probably a week-to-week, you're truly on a week-to-week contract, essentially. One of those you already mentioned, that's Will Hernandez, who, as you said, only played 5 games this past year due to injury. He has started as a full-time player at both left guard and right guard in his career.
High second round pick.
Yep. And in fact, back in 2018 and 19, his first 2 seasons, so he's obviously healthier then as well, he was a starting left guard for the Giants, some bad Giants teams. But according to the approximate value stat at Pro Football Reference, it's just, how you affect the game, bigger number, better, etc. By that metric, 2 of his 3 best seasons of his 7-year career were at left guard his first 2 seasons before moving over to the right. 30 years old. Spotrac estimates that his market value is about $4.3 million. I would think you could wait a little bit and get that to come down even a little bit more. Chiefs, for what it's worth, have about 12.7 to work with. You don't want to burn through too much of that because you got to sign your draft picks, and you got to have more in case you sign guys before camp. So you don't want to burn too much more than about 4, hopefully less for Hernandez. But I'd be fine with a try there. One other name, and this dude would come super cheap. Dalton Reisner. So Dalton Reisner is awesome with us. In the rafters as a 580 Sports Talk guest.
Yes,
one of the all-time greats on this program. Good media guy, good community guy, family man, lot to like. There have also been enough rumors from both of his teams, the Broncos and then the Vikings, of some discontent in the locker room.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Reisner is he's never been a bad NFL player.
No, he's always never, Pro Bowl, never an all-pro guy, but you can do worse.
Yes. You
can certainly do worse. There is a world in which Suomataia is better than Dalton Reisner. Great. That's pretty good then. Or a world in which Reisner could be a better player and you still would have a slightly above average starting guard, and you would take that happily for the Chiefs after this past season. I would not mind kicking the tires at all on him. Again, you bring him in, non-guaranteed deal. If he doesn't make it in training camp, okay, you cut him last week, August, and no harm, no foul. Again, Spotrac for him estimates that his market value right this second, $3.3 million. You could get him for less. I'm certain of that. He's about to turn 30. Last year, he was on a 1-year, $2.4 million deal. You could probably get him for that same amount or less the later you sign him in the summer. So if the Chiefs were to bring in a guy like that, I would be willing to accept that competition. But if they don't, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, it is so strange. Reisner has been able to
bizarre.
Hold down a solid NFL gig. I had a question from the 785, and you might know this, Brendan, on the text line. The total salary hit for drafted players, the Chiefs took 7 guys, 1 first rounder, and then it's a scaling salary for most 2nd through 7th round picks.
Correct. So the Chiefs, this is according to Over the Cap. I have this actually right in front of me. I have to go find where they picked. The Chiefs' pool value for their rookies is $9.2 million.
Okay.
So that's the amount that they need to have. But you don't need to worry about it too much. You take all that out. Whoa, all of a sudden we've only got $3 million to work with. We can't sign anyone. We're in a bad place. You restructure 1 or 2 contracts. You cut 1 or 2 guys who you knew you were going to cut anyway, and suddenly you're fine.
Yeah,
but
it's a shell game.
Yeah.
At that point.
Effectively, then the Chiefs have about $3 million in space after those guys are done.
We'll take a quick time out here on 580 Sports Talk. Speaking of free agents, we'll look around the free agent pool and wonder if there's anybody at another position that the Chiefs ought to be kicking a tire on, or anybody who can really make an impact for a contending team at this point who's still out there. And then Matt Derrick's going to join us to talk Chiefs as we're just getting started on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. 3:33 on 580 Sports Talk. While we're discussing NFL free agents, is there anybody out there that you think the Chiefs, outside of left guard, we'll put that one to bed for a second. Anybody out there, any position out there you think the Chiefs might have some interest in making a phone call on?
I really kind of convinced myself that Dalton Reisner is worth a flyer, to be honest with you. But no, I don't really think there is anyone. Linebacker, you're set. You drafted your depth this year in Bassa. Cornerback looks set. If you're going to go get a safety, I mean, you're bringing someone in to mostly be a special teamer. That it's not worth the price of getting Rayshon Jenkins, who's a decent player, but it's not really worth the squeeze there. I am officially retiring my clamoring for a wide receiver. I am 5 years in a row of please plan for the future. Well, now they have with Rice and Worthy and Royals. So I'm done. I'm putting that to rest. Tight end, I mean, you've got bodies. I don't know if any of them are going to be good, but you've got bodies behind Kelsey. I don't really think you need anything else at this point. I'm line depth you can never have enough of, but I'm honestly feeling okay. I actually love the corner depth now. I feel great about that. So I'm cool sitting out the rest of the free agent market, honestly.
What about an edge guy? Like, you have to be really particular because like they added Joshua Uche and he couldn't play in the system. So he never got on the field. So it'd have to be a system fit, but like there are guys out there like Jadeveon Clowney just got cut. Zadarius Smith is still out there. Preston Smith, Dennis Gardeck, Yannick Ngokwe.
Yeah.
Like, there's some guys out there who could maybe provide in like a 20% of the snap count kind of deal, a little bit of pass rushing juice.
My only worry there, and I'm not necessarily opposed to it, because there's guys out there who can make an impact. Clowney is such a fascinating player. Talked about him a little bit yesterday, and everyone, well, he just got overhyped because of that one play. No, wrong. He was the unanimous All-American, guys.
Yes,
he's like one of the best prospects ever.
One of the number one high school player in the country. Yeah. And he's had a fine NFL career. I think we all expected more than fine.
Microfracture surgery. You think Josh Simmons' patellar injury is bad? Go ask Jadeveon Clowney about his microfracture surgery. I'd be willing to kick the tires. The only problem there is, again, you've got bodies there. Like, you're not attached to Malik Herring, but you've got Karlaftis, and you signed a Menahu, and you still have Felix, and you drafted Gelati, and like, if you bring in another guy, especially a veteran who's going to expect some snaps, like, is that a telegraph that Felix is probably done?
That's exactly what it would be.
If that's the case, then fine, you're adding a better player, but that would be a bit disheartening.
We'll take a break, come back, see what Matt Derrick thinks. Our Chiefs insider joins us next on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by the great Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. He's our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt's writing found at ChiefsDigest.com. Matt himself is found across any social media you can conceive under his name, Matt Derrick, and he joins us now here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, rookie minicamp in the books. Who or what impressed you the most from the 3-day rookie minicamp, or at least the parts you got to see?
Yeah, a big part of what impressed me was just how good it was. I mean, normally rookie mini camps are terrible. They're just not usually very good football. Guys are trying to pick things up, and it's usually. Andy Reid's just usually complaining about how it's just like, well, it kind of looked like football a little bit out there. I think this is the best rookie mini camp I've ever seen, and some of that obviously I think is due to the players, and you give credit to the scouts for finding good tryout players, because most of the camp was the tryout players. I think it also helped having a guy like Chris Oladokin, this is his third mini camp that he's run. So I think having a guy like that around. But I think, hey, there's a lot to be said about the fact that the rookies that are in this group, the undrafted guys and the draft picks themselves, I think the Chiefs did pretty good here.
Among the undrafted free agents, was there anybody in particular who really flashed to you and showed that they might have, again, more of an opportunity to crack that 53 than we might have realized?
Yeah, there's a handful. Jake Greenstool, the tight end from Clemson, he didn't necessarily have the best camp. He was good, but it's just he's the right player at the right position. He looks the part of everything that the Chiefs kind of need. At least for right now, like a number 3 tight end, a guy who maybe has a feeling of being a number 2 guy, maybe more, who knows? But he's got a lot of physical skill, good size, seems to have the right attitude, and on the field, has already got some good skills as far as just, how you play tight end, route running, boxing out, being able to, go get the football, shield the ball from the defenders. Did a lot of little things right. Elijah Young, the running back from Western Kentucky that used to be at Mizzou, good speed, catching the ball a lot. There weren't any running plays in a rookie mini camp, but he looked really good. He looked almost as good as Rashard Smith. Both those guys looked sharp, but really liked him. Elijah Badger was probably the best. The kid from Florida was probably the best of the wide receivers. There's another one that the Chiefs did not sign, Keyshawn Smith from SMU. He's going to the Raiders camp this week, and if the Raiders don't sign him, I think there's a chance that he gets back to Kansas City. There just might be a little bit of a bidding war, because he had a good camp. If he has a good camp for Vegas, might be tough. And there's others. Keziah Izzard, the defensive lineman, I'll be interested to see just when the pads come on. There was a couple of defensive packs that were pretty good, and Eddie Zaplicki, the Ray Guy winner, the punter from USC, he can give a challenge to Matt Araiza. It might end up being a battle of just who has the better touch, because both those kids seem like they've got great legs.
Of the draft picks, I want to ask you about Jalen Royals specifically. In what ways did the Chiefs maybe try to use him in the parts of minicamp that you saw, and where do you see him in a best case scenario? Do you think he could be wide receiver 4 for the Chiefs, or do you think that's going to be a bit too much to ask of a first-year player in Andy Reid's system?
I really don't think it is too much to ask, and I think that it's certainly something that I don't know if he can be a guy in year one that you're putting in through, 2 or 3 different positions. And the Chiefs don't normally like to do that. They normally like to be able to give a receiver one spot. And I feel like that's what they'll probably try and do with Royals. Now, this was just 2 days, so small sample size, but, Saturday seemed like they were trying to kind of find his comfort zone, just what he could do. Maybe throwing him out there with some concepts that he didn't normally do. They had some fades, things on the sideline a little bit, and he was nervous on day one. Everybody was. So there was a few drops and didn't look perfect, but they loaded him up on day 2 and just absolutely fed him the football. Had a lot of things built for him, mostly out of the slot, some on the outside, but pretty much everything was working over the middle. Not a lot of deep stuff, usually just kind of short to intermediate routes, and he ate that up. I mean, it was in his wheelhouse. So, working out of the slots, some slants, crossers, those are what he does best. And if the Chiefs can find a way to take advantage of that, I think he can do some things as a rookie. I mean, he's a 4th-round pick, so I think he has to have reasonable expectations. But hey, could he be more successful and impactful than maybe a 3rd-round guy like Chris Conley, or certainly a 4th-rounder like Demarcus Robinson? Yeah, I think he could be.
Matt Derrick is our guest. He joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline every single Friday at this time for our Chiefs Insider. Make sure you find his coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs over at ChiefsDigest.com. Matt, what would you say right now is the biggest weakness on this Chiefs roster? We read a piece earlier in the show from Aaron Schatz over at ESPN who said he believes it's left guard. I think if that's the case, given the way the roster is made up and the depth chart's made up, I actually think that's not too bad for the Chiefs. Do you agree about the left guard spot? And what would you say is the biggest weakness on this roster as currently constructed?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would agree with that. I mean, I get what he's saying, because we certainly don't know who the starter's going to be there. If it's Kingsley Suamataia, hey, then that's probably how the Chiefs kind of envision things working out. Hey, if neither Kingsley or Hunter Norzad can beat out Mike Caliendo, it's probably a concern. But I'm not betting against Caliendo. I mean, or against Norzad rather. I still think he's the guy, and if he wins that job, then I think it's because he really flat out beat the other 2 guys, and he's really good. A lot of it is still just question marks. We don't know how good Jalen Moore is going to be at left tackle. We don't necessarily know how good the Chiefs are going to be at the primary, of the top 3 corner spots. You feel good about Trent McDuffie, but hey, you haven't seen a truly a full healthy season from Jalen Watson. Is Christian Fulton going to fit in there? How is Noah Williams going to fit in there? I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily call corner a weakness. It's just such a huge question mark. And you could probably say a little bit about safety, because even though, again, they've got a lot of draft picks and a lot of talent there, you just don't know how it's going to work out without Justin Reed. I mean, I would probably at this point, I mean, like I said, I get the left guard, argument there. I'd still probably say left tackle is the bigger question mark. I might even say running back is a bigger question mark, because again, even though you got a lot of bodies there and you got a 7th-round guy that you drafted, I mean, how good are the Chiefs? How good is the run game? It has not been really good the last couple of seasons. So I think there's some other places that if the Chiefs find out that they're better this year than they were last year, I think there's other spots that they would pick other than left guard.
Do you think they'll kick the tires on any still available free agents at any of those spaces? We went over some of the guard options who are out there. Dalton Reisner has had such an odd career for a player who's been average or slightly above, but teams seem to not be able to wait to get rid of him. Would you kick the tires on him or a Will Hernandez? Running back, I haven't seen exactly what the market looks like out there. Or do you think the Chiefs are going to say, hey, we might have question marks, but we're going to solve all of them in-house?
I could certainly see if they're going to add some outside talent. I think it still would probably be on the defensive line, maybe especially defensive tackle, because unless Omar Norman Lott is going to be playing next to Chris Jones and playing 50% of the snaps, I don't really know who the starting defensive tackle next to Chris Jones is. It's going to be somebody, but that's still a spot where I think that they're a little weak, and certainly just don't have enough depth and enough proven talent. Offensive line, I think the only real drawback is that you've sunk so much cost into that offensive line as is, that I just don't know if you can afford to throw a whole lot more out there. I mean, and you're already, I think, going to have a tough time, filtering down without injuries, to the 9 or 10 guys that are going to play this year. Since, you may need to keep an extra tackle depending on where Josh Simmons is. You need to figure out, who are your backups along the interior. And already the Chiefs are one of the top 2. I think they're number 2 in spending at offensive tackle. I haven't looked at it since the draft, but at one point they were number 1 in offensive line spending and for this season. And there's just, at some point, you got to run with the guys that you got, and they've got a lot of numbers at offensive line. I think they're their numbers are more challenged at other spots, and defensive line in particular, and tackle. I think that's still a section where they could use maybe another veteran to compete.
On the defensive line, specifically over at the end position, Matt, I know we've still got a long way to go before week 1 coming up, first week of September, but how is the franchise feeling about Felix Anudike-Uzomah right now? Because he's not, for the moment, in line to be one of the starters. It's going to be Karlaftis. Omenahu is back, obviously. You draft Gelati. Malik Herring hasn't done much, but the Chiefs continue to keep him around. Where do they feel like Felix is right now going into year 3? Is there still a lot of hope and anticipation that he's going to break through and is going to make a bigger impact, not just have those spotty flashes? Or are there some real worries about his ability to contribute for this team, even in year 3?
It's a great question the way you put it, because I don't know that I sense that there's a lot of worry necessarily, because I think they feel like at this point with Felix Anudike-Uzomah, what I hear is, hey, his role is a rotational piece. He's a rotational pass rusher, and they feel like that's what he is. If he can be something more than that, if he can break out and prove that he can do more and be more in year 3, and they have always felt like that was probably the year for him. You know, he's always been a little younger. He was a late bloomer. I mean, this is definitely his year to break out if he's going to. I think that's really what it's come down to, is that I think the Chiefs have accepted what they have. And if he can prove to be any more than that, great. They'll feel like that they've found money. If you know, it develops into something more, you know, somebody who can challenge for a starting position, or somebody that you feel like that you can put out there on all 3 downs. You know, right now, like I said, he's a rotational pass rusher, and you know, maybe a guy that you just use in your 3rd down package. Maybe you use in a few other spots too, but if he can develop into more than that, I think that at this point they'll just feel like that, hey, that they've stumbled into something.
What has kept Felix from maybe reaching that level, Matt? What are the things? Is it technique? Is it physicality? Is it size? Like what's been the missing piece that the Chiefs would hope that Felix can find?
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things that I think even if the Chiefs knew for sure what it was, maybe they would try to kind of pinpoint it a little bit. I mean, there's no doubt the hand injury as a rookie set him back. That kind of made the entire season kind of a little bit of a redshirt year. Even though, hey, at times he played well, he had to play early because of injuries, and didn't look bad. Had some good moments. Then he kind of disappeared, and played a little bit late. Just got his feet wet a little bit more, but didn't make a huge impact. I still feel like even in year 2, he was kind of feeling himself out a little bit. I thought there was steady improvement throughout the year, especially when the Chiefs kind of started figuring out maybe the best role for him. And that's something that I think they've had a challenge for, is just figuring out what is the best place for him to line up. And last year, later in the season, they started using him a little bit more in a wide 9, far outside on the edge, and he seemed to have some success there. I still think it was always going to be year 3, because he was 21 when he came out. On top of that, I mean, when he got on the campus at Kansas State, I think he put on like 60 pounds of muscle, and grew like 4 inches from his senior year of high school. I mean, he blossomed. I mean, and so he became a completely different person and player. And I think that was just still getting used to it, and maybe learning how to play with the size that he has. And I think there's just been a big adjustment for him. And for guys like that, especially late bloomers like that, it takes them a while. So I've never felt like giving up on Felix until you get to year 3. To some guys, it does take a while before they kind of blossom and figure out who they are. And he always seemed to be one of those guys to me.
Matt Derrick covers the Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com. He's our Chiefs insider on 580 Sports Talk, and joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline every Friday at this time. Matt, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
I can't wait, guys. Take care, my friends.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll take a break, come back, wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk after this. A real quick changed my mind here on 580 Sports Talk. Changed my mind, Brendan. The AL Central's going to have 3 playoff teams again.
Man, I am going to say no, and I'm going to give it the old gambler's fallacy. The Guardians are due to drop off, man. They can't keep getting away with this. Winning record, second place in the division, negative run differential. They cannot keep getting away with this.
The thing about the start for these Central teams is that they're playing well against the Eastern Division, which is kind of the litmus test. Nobody looks all that good in the West. Texas can't score runs.
Nope.
Houston's just mid.
Yep.
And the A's are 20-8 team, have a terrible run differential.
And are you going to trust the Mariners?
Central teams get to play the White Sox more than anybody else. Like, I'm kind of feeling it for the Central again. Detroit, KC, Cleveland, could happen. We'll take a break, come back. We'll talk about the Royals, their series with the Red Sox, plus what is wrong with you, and Ross Chastain for the NASCAR Cup Series. Join us at the bottom of the next hour. Stay with us on 580 Sports Talk. Well, let's get it. Hour number 2 of this Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. So glad you're here. Thanks for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our video stream. We are live on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on Facebook at WIBW News. Gang's all here. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis. We're with you until 6 o'clock when once again we'll hand the baton to the Royals Baseball Network as the hottest team in baseball tries to make it 7 wins in a row, starting a 3-game home series tonight with the Boston Red Sox. 6:40 first pitch against the Beantowners tonight. It'll be Michael Lorenzen on the hill for Kansas City, taking on Hunter Dobbins for the Red Sox. I will confess right here and right now, I don't know who that is. I got nothing for you on Hunter Dobbins.
Wait, ball knower Dan Lucero has no clue who this guy is.
Ball knower Dan Lucero has never heard of Hunter Dobbins in his entire life.
Wow. He sounds like a backyard baseball generated character.
He has pitched in 3 major league games. They have all been starts this season. He was an 8th round draft pick. He's a Big 12 guy, Texas Tech.
Sure.
From Texas, Bryan, Texas.
There's a prison in Bryan.
Where's number 73? Yeah, this is what do they call him? NPC?
Yeah.
In a video game.
Non-player character.
Yeah. This is right-hander, very boring stats through his first 3 games. Just a guy that I have never heard of.
This is not to be confused with another college baseball player named Hunter Dobbins, who goes to Ball State.
A lot of hunters in baseball these.
Yeah, Hunter's a popular one.
Yeah, there's Hunter Renfroe, again, not in the lineup for the Royals.
Not to be confused with football player Hunter.
Not to be confused with Hunter Dozier.
Hunter Dozier.
Gone. Dozier.
I can tell you this. Hunter Dobbins majored in university studies. What is that?
Not to be confused with Reds pitcher Hunter Green.
Yeah, a lot of hunters. There you go.
I was just to hear name hunters the rest of the day. Catfish hunter, Torrey Hunter.
Those are 2 good ones. Torrey Hunter Jr.
Yeah, the football player, I believe.
Was he?
Yeah, he was a wide receiver somewhere.
He might have been. I know Griffey's kid was a football player.
That could be who I'm thinking of, honestly.
Currently, Google says Torrey Hunter Jr. is an internet personality and Torrey Hunter's son.
Got that going.
No, he played for the Angels.
And for Notre Dame football.
Oh, okay.
So we were both right.
Hunter Pence,
yeah.
Okay, I guess we are just naming hunters.
Hey, he's a 4-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ. Come on.
I hate Hunter Pence. Maybe my least favorite baseball player of all time.
He's on the Giants Wall of Fame. So.
Oh, cool for him. I hate him. I hate him with my whole life.
With my whole life. Wow.
Swung the bat like a moron. Hate Hunter Pence.
He definitely had some try-hard vibes.
Yeah,
and that, you should be trying hard. You're a Major League Baseball player, but going out of your way.
High socks, but no stirrups. We don't trust you, Hunter Pence.
Who was the other guy? Who's the guy who sprinted around the bases? Eric Burns. Similar vibe.
Adam Rosales was the guy who.
Adam Rosales.
Ran, wow. Yeah, that's a pull. That's a.
I think I was thinking of Eric Burns.
You were. Eric Burns was another guy. Definitely had try hard.
Yeah. Oh, it was a pull
all
for
over.
you.
Hunter Pence also won.
It was a good pull. Eric Burns, Rocky Great. He's on. Is he still doing MLB Network stuff? I don't feel like I've seen him on TV in a while.
I don't know.
Adam Rosales is a deep cut though.
Yeah, that is a very deep cut.
Sprinted around the bases when he hit home runs.
Did you know Eric Burns has the Guinness Book of World Records record for most holes of golf in a single day?
Yeah, he's speed golf.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing.
420 holes of golf in one day.
What?
That rocks.
Dude, his back must have been destroyed.
Sure, his wife.
Can you imagine his shoulders, though?
Oh, no.
They probably feel like Jell-O times a trillion.
We're going to talk some baseball this hour.
Wikipedia says not to confuse Eric Burns with 1950s football player Eric Barnes.
Never
spelled differently in every category.
That would never happen.
No,
I can promise we
would
not get the two of them confused. We are going to talk some Royals baseball this hour, looking at that series against the Red Sox this weekend. Much more of a proving ground for the boys in blue than some of the opponents that they have played over these last 17 games, of which they have won 15. We'll also crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You, and it's not this hour, our conversation with NASCAR Cup Series driver Ross Chastain. The NASCAR Cup Series is back in Kansas this Sunday, this weekend, qualifying tonight. And on Sunday, it's the running of the AdventHealth 400, first of two tour stops for the Cup Series at Kansas Speedway this season. Ross won the last one at Kansas Speedway, the Hollywood Casino 400 last September, so he's looking to have a bit of a winning streak. The track at Kansas Speedway has been very good to the eighth-generation watermelon farmer, Ross Chastain. So we'll cover that ground with Ross and more. That conversation coming up at the bottom of this hour. Looking forward to that.
Any relation to Brandy?
I don't think we asked, but I also pretty sure the answer is no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We would know that, I feel like. We know the thing about the melon farming. I think we would know if he had a much more famous athletic older sister.
He had, this did also not come up during the interview, but great college life. Went to Florida Gulf Coast for one semester and then went to work. Literally spent a fall on the beach and then decided to go race trucks. What a life. That's awesome.
According to his Wikipedia, he has one older brother named Chad.
Okay, so
That's-
not related to Brandy.
Chad is or was a race car driver as well.
Okay, I'm sorry to keep distracting us. You want to talk about being a watermelon farmer? His brother Chad, his Xfinity Series paint job made his car look like a watermelon.
Oh, that is sick.
Yeah, I think when Ross broke in, I think one of his first sponsors was like American Watermelon Farms or something like that. Like
Yeah, I mean, get who you know.
The contacts from the watermelon farming industry
Who believe in you.
were why he had the funding to start his NASCAR career.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So we'll hear from Ross Chastain bottom of this hour here on 580 Sports Talk. You are invited and encouraged to be involved with the show today. 785-272-9429 is the number to text us. 785-272-9429, the text line number. Also get in the YouTube live chat. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and interact with us live as we go along here on the live chat. Royals and Red Sox. So over the course of this 17-game stretch in which the Royals have gone 15-2 and surged from well below 500 at the time to now 7 games above 500, a season watermark at 23-16. The teams they played in this 17-game stretch, they beat Detroit on getaway day on that long road trip. They went 2-8 on the trip, but they beat Detroit on that Sunday to start the streak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they came home and they played Colorado, who's the worst team in baseball, and swept them. And then they had 3 at home with Houston, who's a 500 team right now, 18-18. Then they went on the road. They played Tampa Bay, who's 5 under 500 at 16-21, and Baltimore, who's now 10 under 500. They look cooked, man. Like, still so much talent on that team. You can't write them off for good yet on May 9th. But, like, the vibes are so bad right now with the Orioles, and they're 7.5 games behind the Yankees already. Like, they might be for real cooked at this stage, and they certainly don't have, it would appear, the pitching to get caught up. But anyway, that's who they played on that 7-game road trip or 6-game road trip. Then they come back and they got 4 against the White Sox, who are the worst team in the American League. So not exactly the stiffest schedule or portion of the schedule that the Royals are going to face. But you can only play who's in front of you, and winning the way the Royals have won is very encouraging. Things are going to stiffen up a little bit moving forward, and it starts with a Boston team that is only 1 game above 500, but has won 2 in a row after a tough stretch in which they lost 5 out of 6. That enabled them to take a series win over Texas. Speaking of teams with some contention, hopes, and some bad early vibes, they can't score, man. That lineup cannot. They fired their hitting coach already. Their offensive coordinator, actually.
Wow, them and the Rockies.
Yeah.
Great company.
Yeah, yes, that's company you want to be in, really, for 30-odd games in the regular season. So the Red Sox come in with back-to-back wins, 20-19 on the year, And what they have to offer that the teams we just ran through, that the Royals have played of late, the Rockies, the Orioles, the Rays, and the certainly the White Sox, they've got some really good hitters. Really, really good hitters. The Red Sox only have 4 guys that are everyday players right now that are above average in terms of OPS, but they're so far, or OPS plus, but they're so far above average that the team collectively is 9% better than league average with a 749 OPS. Alex Bregman's been the main man. He has been everything they paid for him to be and then some. 15 doubles, 9 home runs, OPS of 988. He's leading the way in that lineup. He has been the most valuable Red Sox to date. Exactly why you give that dude all that money. Mystifying why it took so long for somebody to give it to him, but a right-handed hitter peppering the monster. It's been a great fit for the Red Sox.
The last 3 years, he's been worth 4 or more wins above replacement, according to Baseball Reference. There was so much talk this past year that he was declining. He got to 30. Now he's 31. He only was worth 4.1 wins above replacement, yada, yada. Like all this weird talk about it. His numbers last year were quite good. Like 260 batting average, 768 OPS isn't elite, but it's still well above average.
Yep.
He hit 26 home runs. I mean, he had a good year overall.
Won a Gold Glove.
This year, he's already been worth 2.3 wins above replacement. And whatever you think about those advanced analytics, that's at least a very popular and commonly used one that's saying he's almost been half as valuable this year through 38 games, more than half as valuable through 38 games as he was last year in 145 games. Pretty good.
So Bregman can rake. Wilyer Abreu can rake. He's also got 9 home runs, an OPS of 950.
No, thank you.
Will your Abreu what? Will my Abreu what?
Yeah, it's not a complete sentence.
Will your Abreu hit the ball over the fence? Yes, he will. Will your Abreu hit for average? So far, yes, 285. Will your Abreu play a good defensive right field? One of the best in baseball, in fact. So that's a real guy that they've got there. Rafael Devers is well established. More about him in a second. Christian Campbell's the rookie that's been playing every day at second base and bashing the ball to the tune of an 819 OPS. Those are their above average guys. Jaron Duran's a solid player. Ceddanne Rafaela is a Gold Glove caliber defender at center field, even if he's not a great hitter. This is a lineup, though.
Him and Kyle Isbell doing the Spider-Man meme, pointing at each other.
I think Rafaela is a good bit better than Isbell defensively.
I think so.
This is a lineup that at the top is going to test the Royals pitching in a way that they probably haven't been sternly tested. Baltimore's a good lineup, and they touched the Royals up a little bit in that series at Camden Yards, but this is a good lineup, and this is a big test for Michael Lorenzen tonight, for Bubic and Lugo on the weekend, to Reagan's. That's what I meant. Reagan's and Lugo. I was thinking left-hander, and I misspoke thinking of yesterday's starter. For Reagan's and Lugo on the weekend to try and limit the impact of the big guns. It's kind of the same philosophy you have when you're facing the Royals. Like, hey, we can get through Witt and we can get through Pasquantino and Perez. We got a good chance of keeping this lineup down for the day. With the Red Sox, it's kind of the same deal. If you can get through Bregman, if you can keep Abreu in the ballpark, if you keep Devers quiet and off the bases, then you've got a pretty good chance to limit this lineup. So I'm see how the Royals pitching staff handles this challenge, because they have not been like strenuously tested. They didn't break a sweat against that White Sox lineup for 4 days. Now they're facing some real guys.
No, this is a Red Sox lineup that is really dangerous. They're 9th in baseball in just sheer number of home runs, but they doesn't have to be home runs for them to be making an impact. They're 9th in home runs and they're 8th in slugging percentage. So they're hitting the ball all over the place. And again, they almost have a more stark drop between the guys who are crushing it and the guys who are not than the Royals, because those guys who have been good have been so good so far this year. I was diving into some of the StatCast numbers a little bit earlier on. I think this is a really, really fun clash. And you're right, it is a big test for the Royals pitchers, but they've been so good. And they have limited the things that the Red Sox are really good at this year. So the Red Sox, number 1 in baseball in hard hit percentage. 47.4% of the time, they hit the ball 95 miles an hour or harder off the bat. That's really impressive. They're also first in average exit velocity, which is 91 miles an hour off the bat. Again, really, really good. The Royals are well into the 80s, let's put it that way. But on the flip side, what has Royals pitching done a great job of this year? Avoiding hard contact. They're 8th in baseball in hard hit percentage pitching-wise and 4th in average exit velocity. Teams are not squaring these Royals pitchers up very well when they actually put the ball in play, which I think makes this an incredibly fun series. And I think that is your big matchup, the Royals pitching versus Boston's batting. And yes, Boston's got some arms as well. Tomorrow, we are getting one of the best battle of aces we're going to get all season long.
Hell yeah, we are.
Cole Reagans for the Royals, Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. Real hoop. That's real graps right there, brother.
That's box office right there.
That
baby.
is awesome. And I don't think that's a national game, which I know you can't predict the matchup, but man, that game deserves to be on Fox. Joe Davis, John Smoltz calling it. Like, that game should be everywhere because those are two of the best pitchers and fairly young pitchers too. Crochet's 26, Reagan's 27 in all of Major League Baseball. So that's going to be a blast. I assume that'll be a pretty low scoring game. We know what the Royals offense is, what it can be when it's good and what it is when it's not so good. And the Red Sox have had decent bullpen, kind of up and down for the bullpen so far. Aroldis Chapman's been pretty good, 12 and a third innings so far, ERA of 2.19, allowed just 3 earned runs. Strikeouts.
Not walking guys, which has been rare for him in recent years.
Yeah, or early in his career. Really most of his career.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, he's averaging 13 strikeouts per 9. Down from his peak, certainly. But this is a tough Red Sox team. I think they are gettable. I think they've got some clubhouse issues that haven't bubbled over in the last 2 days, but could at really any point. I know we'll get to that here in a second. But I think this is going to be must-see baseball, Saturday especially, and it's a huge test. The Royals come away with a series win here. You've got to feel, I mean, you already feel good if you won 15 of 17. Even if you get swept this weekend, which would be bad, okay, you've won 15 out of 20. You're in a pretty good spot.
And you had a winning homestand. Again, so you're looking at the macro.
But you go win this series, suddenly you're shedding at least some of the we can't beat good teams narrative, because this is, even if they're not perfect, a really dangerous lineup, and at least at the top, a pretty good rotation.
And they should be able to get after some of these pitchers. I don't know much about Dobbins, but they see Lucas Giolito on Sunday. He's been terrible in his first 2 starts back. He hasn't pitched. He obviously had pitched last year coming off of injury. So, and he's been awful in his first 2 starts this year.
9 runs in 9 2/3 innings. Is that bad?
Unfortunately, we're missing our guy, my guy, Dick Fitz. He will not pitch for the Red Sox in the series. He goes by Richard, which means he's a coward.
Yeah, I get it.
Honestly, dude, make them call you Dick Fitz.
What happened to Cutter Crawford? Where's he these days?
Cutter with a K? Couldn't tell you.
Hasn't played this.
Yeah, I guess he must be injured. Yeah, he's on the 15-day IL. So, yeah, I haven't seen Cutter with a K yet.
He's scared of the Royals.
Ducking the smoke, obviously. You mentioned some clubhouse issues. So the Red Sox signed Alex Bregman. They had a third baseman, Rafael Devers. Now, is he a good third baseman defensively? Absolutely not. But he's been their third baseman. So they were going to ask him to maybe move positions, and Devers threw a fit. He did not want to move off of third base. He did not want to be a designated hitter. He threw a big fit about it before the season, finally sort of relented, and then he started the year like 0 for 18 with 15 strikeouts or something ridiculous like that. He was striking out every time he went to the plate for the first handful of games.
Yeah, it was really funny.
He has since rebounded, actually leads the American League in walks, and he's hitting 255, 834 OPS, got the power, got the doubles, doing his thing. The Red Sox just lost their first baseman for the season. Tristan Cox has ruptured his patellar tendon. So he's going to be out for the rest of the year, which is really unfortunate for him.
But he's going to come back and play left tackle for the Chiefs.
But now the Red Sox don't have a first baseman. So they went to Rafael Devers and said, hey, you've never played first base before. Let's give that a shot. Can you play first base for us? And Rafael Devers says, no, man. And on the one hand, I kind of understand like not wanting to have to learn a brand new position midstream and feeling like you're getting yanked around when you're the franchise guy, you're the highest paid guy on the team. And now all of a sudden they're acting like they can just yank you around and put you wherever you want to be. Like, I understand Devers being a little irked. Like, it's the Red Sox fault they don't have a backup first baseman.
Yes.
And they don't have a backup plan. And if they had gone to Devers in the offseason and said, hey, let's get you some ground balls at first base, you're going to be a backup option there, Devers would have probably thrown his fit, but at least he would have gotten to work on it in spring training instead of them saying, hey, we really want you to play first base. You've never played it in a game. We're going to stick you over there full time in the middle of the season. I get why Devers is mad. I also get why it looks really bad for him to publicly complain about what his team wants him to do.
It was crazy, though, for Boston to tell him during spring training, essentially, like, don't bring a glove.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I imagine even Shohei, like, fields pop-ups, right?
Yeah. They're yanking him around big time, and I understand.
Yeah, crazy.
I understand it from both sides. I do.
Too.
But, that kind of frustration with your best player, that is the kind of thing that tends to bubble over and can derail a season. They hadn't been playing well before they took 2 in a row from Texas to end the series. Again, game 1 of that series is tonight, 6:40 first pitch, 6 o'clock pregame here on 580 WIBW FM 104.9. Game 2 Saturday is the one with the great pitching matchup, Crochet and Reagans. I'm going to send caller number 4 to that game. I've got a pair of tickets for Saturday's Royals Red Sox tilt at the K. 785-272-9429 is the number. Caller number 4 going to the K on Saturday during this break. 785-272-9429. What is wrong with you next on 580 Sports Talk? What is wrong with you on 580 Sports Talk? It's brought to you by our guy Mo, State Farm agent Ryan. Mo Winkle.
What's up, Mo?
Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. Who can do the most to help you navigate insurance and financial services needs? Mo, for show. Give him a call, 785-273-1572. Our current What is Wrong with You champion, our winner from Monday, the cool mom, the Texas mother who got arrested because she brought Jell-O shots to a 5th grade classroom party. Jell-O shots that, once again, were purchased on Facebook Marketplace. And that very clearly had booze in them, but she brought them to school anyhow. And
how was I supposed to know? Because they're Jell-O shots.
Got a bunch of 10 and 11-year-olds drunk. 2 new stories today. story takes us to the Albany area, Cohoes, New York. A man was arrested after police received calls about two men fighting in front of a residence. Police responded May 1st at 2:40 p.m. in Cohoes for reports of a fight between two men. After separating the two parties, they learned from a witness that 34-year-old Craig Wolcott of Albany was reportedly walking down the street wearing a clown mask and brandishing an electric chainsaw.
Juggalo?
A neighbor asked Wolcott what he was doing, at which point he ran up on the resident with the chainsaw.
Uh-oh.
The resident was able to restrain Wolcott until the police arrived. He was charged with 3 felonies, 2 counts of third-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and 1 count of first-degree menacing.
It's not a funny crime, but it's such a funny sounding charge.
It's a real simple story, right? Like
Yeah.
he just wearing a clown mask with a chainsaw. Yeah, he was on his way to the Gathering of the Juggalos or something like that.
Freaking magnets. How do they work?
I got to give the resident in question here some credit. Like, this dude ran up on you with a chainsaw and you were able to restrain him.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That's some good work, man. I would be unrestrained in sprinting back indoors or to my vehicle. I wouldn't want any of that smoke. If somebody running up on me with an electric chainsaw. Anyway, Brendan, what's your story today?
All right, for my story, we're going down to the Villages in Florida, where a villager crashed his Tesla in a roundabout and then attempted to blame a fictional girl he claimed to have met.
His Canadian girlfriend.
She goes to a different school. You wouldn't know her. She's a model, though. The dispatch center at the Sumter County Sheriff's Office received an Apple automated message at 9:46 p.m. Tuesday, indicating a silver Tesla had been involved in a crash on Megason Road in Hawkins. A Wildwood police officer went to investigate the crash and found a witness who described the man who fled the scene on foot after requesting that the witness not call law enforcement. This witness said, "Screw you, buddy." The witness also then said the man fled into the village of Hawkins. The officer soon found 63-year-old Jeffrey with a G Treadwell of Hawkins, who matched the description provided by the witness. When the officer asked about the crash, though, Treadwell immediately began to blame his girlfriend, claiming she had been behind the wheel. He said, though, that he wasn't sure where she had gone. Quote, "She was driving, but she took off." He described her as, quote, "a girl I met in Brownwood, and her name was Stacy." It appeared that Treadwell had been drinking.
You don't say.
He also had lacerations on both of his legs. Officer took Treadwell back to the crash scene where they saw the vehicle's driver's side airbag had deployed and the vehicle sustained extensive damage to the doors and locking system. It did not appear, though, that the passenger door had been opened. The officer concluded there had been no front seat passenger. There was also damage to the roundabout. Treadwell refused a breath sample, and he is now in jail.
That's very funny to blame it on someone who does not even exist.
Yeah, Stacy from Brownwood did it. You probably don't know her.
She sprinted off in the other direction. She was too scared.
She was a track star.
She left me here to deal with the aftermath. That one wins today. That's really funny. That doesn't beat the cool mom.
No, man. Honestly, buying Jell-O shots on Facebook alone would be enough to win a day, if not the week. But also, everything else, just ridiculous.
How do you not know that there's alcohol in Jell-O shots?
Right.
Like, that's a given.
And like I said yesterday, if you're going to call something shots, you can't bring them to school. I promise you.
The Cool Mom is our weekly winner on What Is Wrong With You, brought to you by State Farm agent Ryan Mowinkle, RyanMowinkle.com. When we come back, Ross Chastain from the NASCAR Cup Series joins us on 580 Sports Talk. The AdventHealth 400 is Sunday at the Kansas Speedway. It's the NASCAR Cup Series returns to the Sunflower State for the first of 2 tour stops this season. We are pleased to be joined now on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk by a driver on the NASCAR Cup Series. He drives the number 1 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet and currently sits 11th in the Cup Series standings. He's a 5-time winner on the NASCAR Cup Series, including in the last trip to Kansas Speedway, last September's Hollywood Casino 400. Ross Chastain is our guest. And Ross, thank you so much for taking the time and welcome back to Kansas. This is a track that's treated you awful well recently.
Boys, it sure has. Thank y'all for having me. And yes, a truck win back in 2019 as my first truck win ever after more than a couple years of trying. And then to get that cup win last fall was special. That meant a lot. We had missed the playoffs last year for those that don't remember. And so to be out of the playoffs and then, in NASCAR, we still compete. So we're still racing. We're still trying to win even as a non-playoff driver. And we're able to go get that done here last fall.
What is it in particular about the track at Kansas that you like or you feel like gives you the opportunity to be successful? Because you've run well, even races where you haven't visited Victory Lane. You've run pretty well at Kansas over the recent years.
Yeah, we have. And I'm sitting in the infield right now. ARCA cars are on track making laps and practice. So it's kind of hard to put a definite thing on it. It starts with just I feel good and have a good attitude flying in because when I look out the window, I just see a lot of agriculture. And for me, growing up in South Florida, most people think of the beaches or somewhere along the coast that maybe someone in their family's retired to or something, or they've vacationed there. But we live inland and we grow watermelons and we're in big ag country down there. And we're down there for the good climate and the warm winter is why we are there, so we can plant our watermelons the first week of January, where when I fly out here, by the time we come in this time of the year in spring and fall, there's a lot of green happening, a lot of you can tell people are planting season out here where we're harvesting right now in Florida. But just looking out the window, I see ag. And so that gets me excited. And then the racetrack is it's at a good age where it was repaved more than a decade ago, and the asphalt has worn out, goes through these Kansas winters and hot summers, and it's worn out, and we slide around. So as a race car driver, that's fun too.
Ross Chastain is our guest here on 580 Sports Talk. You mentioned right there the connection that you have to agriculture as an 8th-generation watermelon farmer. How are the other ways that you stay in touch with those agricultural roots as you maintain one of the busiest schedules of any NASCAR driver, driving not just in the Cup Series, but also participating when you can in the Craftsman Truck Series and the Xfinity Series as well? How do you stay in tune with those roots?
Yeah, it's an intentional effort on our part. I've got a good team around me. Well, my team's at Trackhouse and Junior Motorsports and Nice Motorsports in the 3 series. But then personally at MMI, I've got a good group that an agency, driver agency that helps me and amplifies me in this platform I've got. So we build out the schedule to stay busy and top status at American Airlines and good rewards at a couple of them. And for example, just yesterday I was up in Nebraska visiting 2 separate farms and telling their story. Take a camera and a microphone and go let them tell their story. And in my opinion, what I see is if an American farmer is doing their job, the public and the end consumer will never see them. And I buy my groceries in the grocery store just like everybody else. And it's something that I can tell their story, let them tell their family story. And some of them are just getting into ag and have made that investment recently. And some have been born into it and they're on their family land and continuing to grow and grow their operation and grow their product, whatever it is, whether that's cattle or beans, corn, or watermelons and veg. So it's intentional. And I personally like to go hang out and visit farms, and we'll film, and then at the end of the day, we'll go sit on the tailgate and have a Busch Light once all the work's done.
When did you realize that you had the opportunity to be a race car driver full time? Obviously, your dad raced as a hobby, and it was something that you did growing up. And at what point did you realize, hey, as much passion as I have for the family business, for agriculture, I've got a real shot to make a go at being a race car driver full time, and I want to do this full time?
In 2011, I was 18 years old, and we ran the World Series down in New Smyrna. We won the late model division, and that's when we decided we could. The next step in late model racing was a large investment. We needed a bigger trailer. We needed to hire a crew to work on the car. We needed to buy a super late model and the engine and everything to travel, even if you just went in the Southeast. But to go to we had always kept moving up. When we would win consistently in the different series, we'd move up. And it didn't mean we won as much as we could have if we'd have stayed in our other series. I started in a pro truck, and so I lost a lot more in the late model. But we just had that mentality of just moving up, always trying to go to the next level. And so we decided, instead of doing the super late model route, let's do one NASCAR truck race as a bucket list thing. And instead of racing the rest of the year, we'll just wait, save that money, and do one race. Looking back, I can't believe we decided that, but we did. And we finished 10th, and that was amazing. And then that got us into more and pushing for more sponsorship and trying to figure it out. And so that was the start of the NASCAR side, but it wasn't until 2014, 2015, a couple years in, where I got the business side of it to a point where I knew I could keep doing it like I was doing it. Now, what that was a 15th place Xfinity car, a 10th place truck, and then I was getting some cup opportunities in the next year. So it definitely, it took a couple years of unsure, and then I'd say definitely in 2015 I thought I could race all year in the 3 series. I thought I could eventually get to the back of the cup field and be in the slowest car, but I could make a modest living at it, and probably never win a race. I was very aware of that, honest with my partners and my sponsors, that thought of winning was not in our cards. And sure glad that I proved myself wrong on that.
Ross Chastain is our guest, driver of the #1 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series, which will be at the Kansas Speedway coming up on Sunday for the AdventHealth 400. So let's talk about some of your success on the track here, Ross, because just this past weekend, fantastic finish down in Texas at the Texas Motor Speedway, coming in second in that one. You're red hot going into this race this week. What was clicking so well for you last week down in Texas?
Ooh, those late restarts. Man, we've been qualifying terrible on Saturdays, and going into Sundays, we have a lot of cars to pass every time. So that's been the effort. It's been the effort this year, but especially lately in the last month, of trying to understand where we're going wrong on Saturdays. And at Texas, I mean, I saw the leaders early in the race because they were right behind me, about to put me a lap down. And pretty wild to think we came back to finish second. Had a lot of stage 3 end of race restarts and opportunities to pass cars, and we passed a lot of them.
Couple of things that I'm fascinated by, Ross, when you think about NASCAR, the team dynamic in NASCAR. You're obviously part of the Trackhouse Racing team. You've got a couple of teammates that run with you every week, but you're also trying to beat them every week. It's very rare it's the only sport where you're trying to beat your teammates on a weekly basis. So what's the collaboration between you and the other Trackhouse drivers as you go into a new week, as you test things out at the new track? What is the level of collaboration that you hope can bring individual and team success with you and the rest of the team?
Yeah, during the week, it's 100%. The Trackhouse, our 3 groups, 99%, I guess I should say. There's probably always something we could do more together and inclusive with each other, but the intention and the way Justin Marks has set up Trackhouse this year, specifically adding the 3rd car with SVG, is that we build 3 cars, and then on the last day in the shop, the crew chiefs can make the small tweaks. SVG and I are drastically different in size. He is a tall Kiwi from New Zealand. I'm a short farmer from Florida, so we weigh different. Like pound for pound, they have to adjust the car because NASCAR sets the cars to all weigh the same with the driver in them. So they have to. My crew chief Phil Surgeon and his crew chief Steven have to do small tweaks just based on driver weight and some things, but we try to build them as similar to each other as we can. And then on the racetrack, we push each other. We draft with each other at the super speedways. Place like Kansas, if I line up behind one of my teammates, I'll just be honest, unless it's for the win, I'm going to push them sometimes to my detriment if I can help them on the restart. And now, if you come down to the green, white, checkered, and we line up on the front row together, we're going for the win. But until we get there, it's a lot of inclusiveness. And Daniel and myself have worked together for several years, and he's the first teammate I've ever had that was in the Cup Series that was as aligned and that lined up with me career-wise. We both have been at other teams and had other opportunities that didn't work out, and we got to Trackhouse and we've had success. So we push each other physically in the gym. It's kind of funny. Him and I are like 20 pounds apart all year long as we fluctuate up and down through the hot summer, and then in the winter, and we weigh in preseason, and then halfway through the season. We've always kind of navigated 20 pounds apart. So I chase him around the gym, and the things we do to be race car drivers and be the best physically we can in the car. We work together a lot with the three teammates too.
The other thing that I always find interesting, Ross, as we're talking to Ross Chastain of the NASCAR Cup Series here on 580 Sports Talk, is how fans choose their drivers. Sometimes it's as simple as, well, I'm a Busch Light drinker, so I'm going to be a Ross Chastain fan. I'm sure there's some of that out there. But the notion of choosing a favorite driver, when you hear from folks who say, I'm a fan of yours, Ross, and they have the T-shirt or they have the hat with that number 1 on it, what does that mean to you when you encounter someone who says they're a fan of you, they're a fan of how you go about your business week by week on the Cup Series?
Well, look no further than Busch Light. That's a big part of onboarding them onto the one car, was knowing the fan loyalty to it and what that was going to mean for Trackhouse and myself. And I already drank Busch Light before they sponsored me, and I told them that. When I went to St. Louis and first met with Busch Light, told them that, and was going to drink it after they sponsored me, and would keep drinking it even if they didn't sponsor me. So it's really worked out in my favor that they did. And I think we've got really something special, and with a lot of fans that like it. And yeah, however fans find us, I think some just want to see the watermelon smash, and that's the only reason they cheer for me. So I'm good with that. That's the whole point of all this. And however they get to us, you talk about other partners. I'm sitting here at Kansas Speedway, just got in for some media today here at the track, and AdventHealth, sponsor of this race, and was a longtime sponsor of me. And my first they put me in the first funded, fully sponsored Cup car, a third car, the collaboration with Spire Motorsports and Chip Ganassi Racing with CGR in the 77. So definitely something that have a lot of memories. And when you've been around in the industry, in a sport like I have since 2011, I've got a lot of stories and past people that I've worked with in the truck and Xfinity series, but had a lot of fun and a lot of opportunity with AdventHealth. And it was so cool last year to win here. They weren't the title sponsor of the race I won in the fall, but I found their logo on the track because they repaint the logo for every race. And I went and I did burnouts all over it. So we've got some really cool pictures and really cool memories. And they came by Victory Lane that day. They're big hospital, taking care of a lot of people out here in the Kansas area. And, have a lot of good stories like that of partners. So I know I've got a lot of doctors and nurses that cheer for me too. I know they cheer for their legacy cars now, but we still stay close with them.
Ross Chastain drives number 1 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series, trying to start a winning streak at the Kansas Speedway, winner of last September's Hollywood Casino 400, coming into Sunday's AdventHealth 400. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
All right, boys. Thank you.
That is Ross Chastain. We will come back with more 580 Sports Talk right after this. On second thought, on 580 Sports Talk, I believe I said something to the effect before the Knicks Celtics series is I thought the Celtics were going to win in 3 games. I did not think that was going to be much of a series. I was too much credit given to the Celtics. They may be champions, but they're still bozos at heart. And they got a long way to go to try to get back into that series. Amazing that the defending NBA champion has not made the conference final since 2019. And the Celtics don't look like they're going to break that streak.
One of the things that's been especially amazing about that series is, like, I thought last year when push came to shove, Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Celtics, who, for the record, is a freak. Total weirdo.
Yeah, absolute
like,
weird guy.
Brain is wired like nobody before him. But when push came to shove, he made all the right calls last year. At every turn, he made the right decision. I don't think he's made one yet. It feels like everything he does is the wrong decision. It's been bizarre. Jason Tatum has been terrible. Oof. My on second thought is I thought during the commercial break you wouldn't be able to tell on the YouTube stream that I was playing Pokemon Go on my phone. You can actually see like every pixel of my phone, even right in front of me on the desk on the YouTube screen.
You got to get the privacy glass.
Yeah, I know. Or do the there's a setting where you can make it all really dark.
That's why I'm glad I have the computer right here. I could be looking at anything and nobody can see.
True.
Yeah, nobody can see
But,
what's on my phone
like
right
I
now.
unlocked it and set it right in front of me. Yeah, like you can see there's a Pidgey right there. See a Bunnelby right in front of me. Yeah.
Spencer, you got on second thought.
Yeah, I really thought the Caps would be leading the series 2-0 over the Hurricanes after 2 games. But, when a team shoots the puck a zillion times, the puck's going to go in net eventually.
Wait, okay, hold on.
Are you claiming that that Carolina is hacking the game by shooting the puck at the net?
No, their strategy is just let's not try to pass the puck. Let's try to shoot the puck every opportunity. Eventually,
Sounds like me when I used to play wrestling video games against my brother, and he would hit the same move over and over again and beat me. I'm like,
What?
you're using the same move.
It's
Stop
not
not fair.
like when I used to play NHL, whatever year it was, I would just take the guy, bring him down real fast and then spin her around the net,
wrap around
around the net, and then shoot it right there on a slap shot.
Cash in NHL 95.
Okay.
Automatic goal.
All right. So I'm going to ask here.
Auto goal all the time for me.
Real quick, because I know you've got some thoughts you want to share during the hockey portion of the playoff roundup. I asked you after game 1 what the vibe check was like. And you were like, oh, it's horrible. It's absolutely terrible because they lost game 1. Am I getting the sense that they won game 2, but you still don't feel good?
No, it's a particular person that's making me feel this way.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll get to that in the roundup. But.
Our thanks again to Ross Chastain for taking some time and speaking with us today. Really enjoyed getting to chat with Ross. It gave us 15 minutes of his time. I would have taken 45. Honest to goodness. I would have done a whole hour with questions and such a fascinating story, fascinating background, and real easy guy to like. You can see why more and more people become fans of his as he goes on in his NASCAR career. Maybe he can get a 580 Sports Talk bump and find victory lane on Sunday.
Usually it works out that way. I'm hoping he doesn't finish like 42nd.
Yeah, I mean, if he wrecks on lap 3, I'm going to feel really, really bad. But thanks again to Ross Chastain for his time. Coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, headlines, including a playoff roundup. We're going to talk about the Chicago Pope, and we're going to preview Royals baseball. That's all coming up on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour of the day, final hour of the week here on 580 Sports Talk. Thank you so much for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and streaming live on video on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Brendan Wardzinski, Spencer Dupuis, rocking with you for one more hour. Royals baseball takes over right at 6 o'clock ahead of tonight's 6:40 first pitch at the K. Royals and Red Sox opening up a 3-game set, first meeting of the year between Kansas City and Boston. Hunter Dobbins and Michael Lorenzen, the starting pitching matchup tonight, 6:40. Again, that first pitch right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. We'll talk a little more Royals baseball this hour in just a little bit. Also want to hear from you on the show. 785-272-9429 is the text line number. 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us in the live chat on our YouTube channel. If you are watching along on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It's a great way to experience the show, interact with the show, interact with your fellow listeners to the show. We appreciate everybody checking us out on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk. Checking us out in the sense of hearing the show, not checking us out as in oogling us like we're pieces of meat.
No, you can check me out.
All right. I don't think my wife would be real cool with that, to be honest with you.
Well, I know no one will take me up on it. That's why I feel comfortable with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't know where I was going with that. I didn't have anything to. I didn't
It's
have
Friday at 5 o'clock.
I didn't-
Dan's ready for the weekend.
Oh, brother, you have no idea how ready I am for the weekend. Holy cow!
I said that to Matt when I got him on the phone back in the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour. I said TGIF, right? He goes, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a big time TGIF. That is a fact. Gonna be a long night tonight too. Nuggets tip at like 9 o'clock tonight. Oh my God, it's gonna be a
late
long
night nugs,
late night, and I got an early tea time Saturday, so gonna be carrying the bags under the eyes.
Tell us about your tea time. Who you playing with?
Playing with a guy Folt.
Yeah!
Caster. Yeah.
Oh,
Hell
Yeah. Guy Folt.
You ever played with Folt before?
I have not played golf with
No.
Folt before.
Me either. But I haven't played with you or anyone for years. So
Get you some clubs, get you on the links.
here's the thing. I don't like golf, but I do like hanging with the boys, right? Like, hey,
Golf is the ultimate hang with the fellas sport.
we got 3 people together. We need a 4th. Like, we're gonna go hang. Get yourself a hot dog at the turn. We're not even gonna keep score. Like, okay, fine. The problem is I'm such ass that it's not even fun. Like, I'm just spraying the ball
Get a
everywhere.
lesson or two.
Yeah,
But
you've
you said it's not.
You got long levers. You should
I
be
do.
able to. I mean, that can make it difficult, but you'd be able
Yeah.
to generate a little pop.
But are you having fun doing it?
I'm having fun with the bros. Like, get a hot dog at the turn, make some jokes.
Like, I can understand where golf would be a sport if you were like really bad at it. I don't know how you have fun if you're really bad.
Make fun doing Happy Gilmore references.
Like, I'm not good. Like, I play in the high 80s. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't know what my handicap is, but I generally I can break 90, but I'm a long way from breaking 80, and even breaking 90 is not always guaranteed.
I'm like 100.
yeah, I was gonna say I ain't breaking 90.
So,
I am breaking 95.
jeez, I'm like Tiger Woods compared to you, chump.
I was
Holy
gonna
cow.
say you're like, well, I'm in the 80s. Damn, man, when are you getting on the Corn Ferry tour?
But look, this guy's
Every now and again, I went to the range yesterday on
This
my
guy
lunch
loves
break.
golf, right? He loves golf. He has a deal with the golf club at some point, and we're just here two bozos that don't play golf all
That's
the
true.
time.
That's true. You got
Like,
the upper hand.
I
Yeah,
did.
he's got the upper hand.
I took a little executive time. I went to the range at Berkshire yesterday, and I felt coming off the range like I might turn pro. Yeah, every now and again you have one of those range sessions where you're just striping it. Your wear pattern is really good on your driver and your irons. And you go to the putting green, even roll in a couple from longer than 3 feet. And you think, man, I might look around see when the mini tour is nearby.
The last time I played, I think I was 18, and we had a little. I've shared this before, but we had a little 9-hole municipal forest preserve course.
Sure.
10-minute drive from my house. So me and my 2 best friends went, and we didn't even need to have I think that was the time we went. We didn't even need to have a foursome. It was early enough. They just said the three of us could play through. And on a par 3, the green was uphill. It was on a platform, and blindly chipped it in, like 2-hopped it into the hole. I will never hit a single shot with any club at any course better than that one. And we played like 3 more holes. It was only a 9-hole course. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I was like 20 something over par on 9 holes. I had that one beautiful par. I'm good.
That's the thing that's supposed to keep you coming back, though. That's not where you're supposed to like drop the mic and be done with golf forever.
But when you get to the next hole, it's like, all right, we're feeling good. And you shank one like 80 yards and it went due left.
You still remember that par, though. You still remember it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess that's the issue. Yeah. Like, I had a cool shot and was like, all right, cool. Let's remember that and go do something else.
File it away in the memory bank.
As opposed to like, next time I'm going to get a birdie.
I know that I can, and I'm not going to chase that high. That is just not how us real duffers out there are wired. We chase that high forever.
I'm not a bunkerhead. I'm not.
I'm still thinking about a chip shot I hold from the middle of the fairway when I was 14. Like, it is that serious. I've also been playing for a really long time, and I got a decent swing. I can fake it. Like, you could watch me and think, yeah, that guy knows what he's doing. And if you catch me for the right 3-hole stretch, you might think, boy, he might be pretty good. And then you look at my card at the end of the day, and I get shit on 91. Like, I 4-putted a green. I made a mess of a chip, scolded across the green like a moron.
Here's the other thing too. I have too much I don't have like social anxiety. But I do battle Big A every once in a while. And if I'm over here, being a doofus and like joking around and having fun, but like sucking it up.
Yeah.
And I see, Tim, Jim, Bim, and Slim over here, and they're like, come on, let's go. Let us play.
No,
like, all right. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
I used to like playing.
Like, hold on, Sig App. We'll let you through in a moment.
I used to like playing solo, but I could only you only get on like a course solo like at certain times. Like, I would go back in my single days. I would go and play at like 4:00 on a Sunday afternoon. Like, everybody's done golfing at that point pretty much. And I would go play solo. I'd hit 2 balls at once, and I'd take my sweet time. And I wouldn't have to worry about anybody, breathing down my neck from the tee box, because when that does happen, I get a little performance anxiety there too.
You know where I'll go play alone though? I haven't in a long time. Bowling alley. I'll go sit in that bowling alley all freaking day and play. Just me.
Isn't Bowling Alone the name of a song? Oh, it's the name of a book. Bowling Alone: The Collapsed Revival of American Community.
I love doing stuff alone like that. I truly do. Baseball game alone? Hell yeah. Concert alone?
Yeah. I've done that many times. I've done the baseball game solo many, many times.
Do you know how weird it is to be a grown adult man alone at a Carrie Underwood concert?
Tell us.
Yeah, tell us.
Look, I enjoyed it. I had a great time.
Yeah, who cares?
I think the mother with her preteens next to me was like, what is happening? Where are your children?
Wait, so did you buy one ticket?
Yes.
I can't do that. I've always got to do so. It's going to be.
I love doing it alone.
The royal we, like the collective, we think too much what people think about us. Like, that is a problem I think that afflicts us all. I think it is very rare, even for people who say out loud, like, the louder and more obnoxious that you are when you say things like, I don't give an expletive what anybody think about me, the more I think that you actually do extremely give an expletive about what other people think about you.
Yes, big fact.
Yeah, so I just think that's a problem that we all have, and I know that I fight it, and I know that a lot of people do, but we should all care less, because how much bandwidth are you really using at the end of the day on what the guy next to you is doing? None.
I will tell you this: the baseball game. Oh, I've done it for football games too. I've been to a couple of different NFL games alone. Which is good, because if your buddy gets super sauced and wants to start fighting someone, like, I don't have to worry about that. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm the one who wants to fight. No. The best part about doing it at a sporting event, though, especially if the people next to you are cool, like, you can talk as much or as little to them as you want.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to a game with friends, yeah, it's fun, but like, hey, can you shut up for like 5 minutes so I can watch the damn game? I don't have to worry about that.
We got a text from the 785 says, Brendan, I'm with you. I'll bowl all day alone by myself.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
We got
or sister
solo bowlers rise up.
Awesome. Great. No one's going to make fun of my form. No one's going to chuckle at me when I try to, like, throw the ball down the lane. I always roll it, but, like, a lot of aggression behind it.
How else are you going to knock down the pins? They're heavy.
That's what I was just telling Spencer this the other day. I'm not doing the tricky stuff, the curve in the ball. No. 100 miles an hour out of the hand, dead on.
Yeah.
The best way
to blast the pins.
That's the best way to do it. Also, the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah, I can't put the
I don't know. No idea. I try to do that. I feel like I would break my wrist. Anyhow, how about we do some 580 Sports Talk headlines
Let's
today,
do it.
shall we? Let's jump into some headlines. We're going to start with one headline from this morning and the related headline from this afternoon. The first headline from Pro Football Talk. Report. UNC bans Jordan Hudson from the football facility.
Oh, no.
This was not Mike Florio's reporting. This was him using the reporting from an episode of Pablo Torre's podcast. Pablo Torre, formerly of ESPN. Pablo Torre Finds Out is the name of his podcast. Actually, really interesting. They've done a lot of really good episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't listen to it every week, every episode, but they've done some really, really good stuff. Anyway, they did a whole, like, who is this woman episode about Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, also handler, also publicist, also CEO of Belichick Enterprises, or whatever, Belichick Productions.
Belichick Productions.
Yeah, the company that doesn't actually exist. So they did a whole, like, expose. And Torre said in the podcast, quote, "Two sources at the University of North Carolina tell me that there has been a decision that was made last week by the higher-ups inside the athletic department that had hired Bill Belichick to be the highest paid public employee, not just coach, in the state of North Carolina. And that decision was that Jordan Hudson, she is no longer allowed in the football building. She is not allowed on the football field." And Torre predicted we would not be hearing much from her moving forward. Torre also added in his podcast that Bill Belichick's family is, quote, "extraordinarily concerned by what has transpired, and that there is, quote, deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be for not just North Carolina, but Bill's legacy, reputation, everything he has built and worked for over decades." This led to the University of North Carolina having to put out a press release saying that the football coach's girlfriend can still come to school. Quote,
permission slip.
While Jordan Hudson is not, this is the headline from ESPN. UNC says Bill Belichick's girlfriend still welcome at school, which is hilarious because, she's still young enough to be an undergrad.
Yeah.
The quote from the statement: "While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university." Torre issued a statement of his own, standing by his reporting, saying that they requested comment, filed dozens of FOIA requests that were not satisfied, saying that they stand by the specific reporting in their episode, which came from the highest levels of the football program. So that's where we're at with this. The university continuing to have to put out fires about their football coach, who, again, is the highest paid public employee in the state of North Carolina. I mean, this cannot be what the university, what North Carolina athletics thought they were signing up for when they saw the opportunity to make Bill Belichick their head coach. I cannot imagine that they perceived that any of this was going to come along with it. And Jordan Hudson seems to be, I don't know, I'm not going to question her competence or her intelligence, but she certainly seems to be quite the opportunist, is what I will say.
Yeah, I would agree with that, certainly. And look, man, like, you should know at this point, take a page out of the Jeff Long playbook. It's not going to work out for you when you intentionally hire the show coach. Like, I guess it worked for Dion, but that was much more the exception that proves the rule, especially because, do you remember what happened to Colorado his first season? They sucked.
Yes.
They were bad. Yeah. Like, it's amazing it worked out. You don't want to bring the dog and pony show coach, because you know what you get when you bring the coach? You get the dogs and the ponies.
Yes.
And you don't want that.
You have to shovel the poop.
Yes.
When there are dogs and ponies around. But here's the difference. If you hire Bill Belichick, you specifically think, okay, we're getting the notoriety that comes with hiring the famous coach, but we're not getting any of the dog and pony show stuff, because what has Bill Belichick abhorred his entire public life? The dogs and the ponies. He doesn't want any of that stuff around. He's Mr. We're we're on to Cincinnati. We're do your job, and I'm gonna be on to Cincinnati this week. Like, that's his whole thing, is he doesn't abide by the distractions. There is none of that around.
Yeah.
There is just football. So you get the benefit that Colorado got. Hire the famous guy. Hire the name on the marquee. Your program is now being talked about in a way and to a level that it was not being talked about before because you hired the famous coach. And we don't have to deal with, like, Dion's kids. We don't have to deal with a nickname, Coach Prime. We don't have to deal with the reality TV. We don't have to deal with YouTube shorts. We don't have to deal with anybody doing TikTok dances in the locker room. Bill Belichick's not going to do that stuff.
No, the funny thing is
worse.
The funny thing is Bill Belichick's kid is, like, extremely out of the spotlight. And also, by all accounts, is actually a pretty good coach. Like, knows what, maybe not be Belichick, but he knows what he's doing, at least, coaching linebackers and defense. This isn't going to work. Like, it's just not going to happen. And you're expecting this guy who's got all this other stuff going on, all these distractions, who I can't imagine is dying to, like, be he ain't going to get a statue in Chapel Hill. Let's put it that way. And I don't think he's really aiming for that either. And you have to, with this transfer-filled roster, high major schedule, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I will accept that I was wrong. But I have a very hard time seeing this being anything even productive. Like, I'm looking at their schedule right now. And I'm not saying they should have kept Mac Brown, because it clearly was not going to get better under Mac. They played TCU to open the season, Charlotte and Richmond also early season. That rounds out their non-conference games.
So they're going to go 3-0 because Belichick versus Sonny Dykes is like the hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby meme when it comes to coaching matchups. And those other two programs are barely serious.
By the same token, can Bill Belichick coach a 20-year-old?
I don't know.
I don't see why not.
But I have a hot take here. I still think it's possible in the next 2 to 3 months. We are sitting here at our jobs in the middle of the day, and we get an ESPN notification per Pete Thamel that Bill Belichick is no longer the head coach at UNC.
Because they fire him?
I don't know. He resigns, or, like, I still think it's possible.
Non-zero chance. I certainly believe there is a non-zero chance. Especially
because they didn't say, oh, she's not welcome, but then they're also saying in the statement essentially, like, yeah, she is not a part of the university. She's not a part of the football administration.
It's all weird. And again, like, they also have one other non-conference game at UCF. Yeah, I don't like their bounce house going to go wild for that one. Clemson might kill them. Cal is not good, but they got to go on the road. They have to go all the way across the country.
Yeah.
Again, with a bunch of 20-year-olds. Syracuse has been better with Fran Brown. NC State is going to be more up for that game than they've been up for any football game in decades. Duke is not a complete pushover anymore. Like, what are they going to go 6-6? Maybe 5-7?
It will be very funny if they start 4-0 and game day comes and they lose like 66-3 to Clemson.
They might.
That's in play, honest to goodness.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm just convinced.
It's not going in the right direction.
Especially because UNC is not Colorado in the sense that any notoriety is good notoriety, and
no,
we've been in the wilderness for 20 years.
They don't need that kind of publicity. They are North Carolina.
They've also been pretty good. Like, they've been a bowl team year after year. It's not like they're nobodies.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And now you've got, like, it's in the walls. The rod is in the walls. You have Michael Lombardi doing interviews talking about how their colors are soft, but we're going to be tough.
Literally Charlie Weiss. There's a reason KU wore a lot of gray during the Charlie Weiss years, because he didn't like blue and red.
Yeah.
What?
Michael Lombardi went in and said, I know we wear Carolina blue, and that's a soft color, but we're going to be a tough team. Imagine if there is a more iconic color in college sports than Carolina blue, I don't know what it is.
There's not.
And they're going to call that a soft color, and they think this is going to go well for them.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
For anybody involved?
I feel like that could ruffle some feathers at the university.
Could?
Oh, for sure.
Could?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Hey, our university colors, the one that you are hired to work for, it's soft.
I've got a quick headline here from the college sports world as well. I hate when Pat Forty has, like, good reporting. It drives me nuts. Freaking Pat Forty. But according to his sources over at Sports Illustrated, the NCAA is considering removing its ban on pro sports betting for folks involved in college athletics. Now, we know gambling on college sports as a college athlete, staff member, coach, etc., Absolutely not. You get in trouble like the Iowa State guys. Not on your own team, not on your own conference, teams at your school, none of that. Did you know, though, that ban also includes professional sports that are sponsored in the NCAA? So, like, an NCAA athlete can't bet on the NFL because that is a sport, football, sponsored by the NCAA. Same with basketball, baseball, whatever.
There's also employees of an athletic department.
Yes, exactly. They're considering lifting that. And 40 writes that momentum is building toward the NCAA removing its prohibition against gambling on pro sports. The board of directors for D1 laid the groundwork for a rule change last month. It has been forwarded on to the council for further discussion next week. If the D1 council is in favor, it could be fast-tracked into existence by late June. So, look, I'm a believer that in legalizing this stuff, I don't really believe in sin taxes, right? So, fine, whatever. That being said, on one hand, fine. Like, okay, if you're an adult and you're of legal age to do it, go for it. On the other hand, I don't really know what the benefit of this is unless the NCAA knows we are going to have to suspend a lot of people. And the easier way is to just not make it a rule anymore. Otherwise, I'm kind of surprised they would just jump right into this and say, oh, yeah, by this summer, it's okay now. It's very odd to me.
Yeah, and I think what they are hoping that they can do with this is have a little bit more control over what exactly gets bet on. And what they would like to do is essentially say, hey, we'll play ball. We'll let you use our logos, for example. Like if you fire up the FanDuel app and you want to bet on a college game, they just show you the team logo like it does in the NHL.
Colored helmet.
You get the color helmet or the colored basketball jersey or whatever it is. We'll let you use those images. We'll give you more access to more data. But player props are done. We're not doing that anymore. That is what the fight is going to be. They're going to say, because those are the bets, the prop bets that are the least safe. Those are the ones that are most subject to manipulation from outside sources, manipulation by players. They want those gone. They don't want they will play ball with gambling if they get rid of the player props. I think that's where we're headed. I think that's probably, honest to God, that might even be for the best pro sports too. Because when we've had the gambling scandals that we've had, Jonte Porter threw away his NBA career over some player props.
Terry Rozier is still being investigated.
Yeah. So that could be the direction that goes. Spencer, you got a quick headline for us?
Yes, I do. Sticking with college sports, this is of Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. The Power 4 Conference Commissioners held an in-person meeting in New York yesterday to discuss several issues, including a future playoff format. Sources tell Yahoo Sports Big Ten and SEC still want control of the format and continue to favor multiple automatic qualifiers from their conferences.
Of course they do.
Yeah, we should also note, too, this is for a 16-team playoff.
Yes.
And they want it, like, ASAP. We barely know that 12 works.
Yeah. It just seems like they want to expand because they see dollar signs.
Yes.
And if you're going to – I'm at a point –
But it doesn't work all the time.
I'm opposed to the college football playoff expansion. I'm opposed to the playoff anyway. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have an argument over the national champion. It's not going to – when Judgment Day arrives, it's not going to make a difference. Like, it's whatever. Just do it. Just if you're going to keep expanding every year, because this was being talked about before this year's playoff. Well, we can go to 16 in 3 years. Just go to 24 and be done with it. Just follow the FCS model and just be done with it. Stop with the constant expansion. Stop with, like, making Heather Dinich look like she's breaking news that the commissioners are telling her to break. Like, just say we're going to follow the FCS model or the D2 model and have somewhere between 24 and 32 teams, and we're having a playoff. Bowl games are dead. G5 teams, since you are no longer, like, included in the fun because we don't respect you, you can keep playing the Quick Lane Bowl or whatever. Like, we're just going to have playoffs now. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it. Stop with the, like, ooh, well, maybe we're going to have a 16. Ooh, we could do, what if about a 15-team format with 3 buys for each conference? Just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do 32 and be done.
I can't add anything to that. I think you're right. So instead of adding anything to that, we're just going to go right to the playoff roundup, shall we?
I think so.
Let's do the playoff roundup.
Sounds great.
I'm excited for the playoff roundup.
You just had Texas. There we go.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I clicked it did nothing, and then I clicked it again, and that's why it finally stopped after it started.
We had Bozo Day yesterday on the playoff roundup.
Yeah, we did.
Last night, we discovered that the Timberwolves, at least for now, are not bozos because they handled their business against the Steph Curryless Golden State Warriors last night, 117-93 in Game 2 of that Western Conference series. So both Eastern series are 2-0 to the lower seed, and 2 Western series are even up at 1. Tonight, a pair of games. The Pacers looking to go up 3-0 at home against Cleveland, that game in Indianapolis, and Oklahoma City is at Denver for Game 3 in that Western Conference series. I feel okay. If Oklahoma City can beat up Nikola Jokic with impunity and not get called for it, it's probably not going to go very well for the Nuggets. But
yeah,
that's what they did in Game 3 and in Game 2, and Jokic is the one who fouled out of the game. Interesting. Just Scott Foster was the official in that game. You can draw your own conclusions.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's go to the NHL. Last night, Caps 3, Canes 1. That series is tied at a game apiece. Spencer, you were not thrilled with the television broadcast.
Oh, yes. First of all, we were playing the game. The game was happening. A puck went into the Capitals' end. It was going to hit the goalie. You know that happens sometimes. Instead of going to the back and it'll be an icing, it just goes to the goalie. And all of a sudden, a Geico ad just came on. So someone in the truck needs to get fired.
All right.
I'm talking to you, producer in the truck that clicks the buttons, but also I'm talking to you, Sean McDonough. Go back to college football. You're an embarrassment to ESPN. The Capitals killed a penalty, and everybody went wild, right, in the crowd because it's a home game. And 30 seconds later, it proceeds to say, yeah, it's been very quiet here in Washington. The Capitals, they are not very good in this series. They literally have had a lead in both games. They haven't not led in a game until they lost in overtime in Game 1, right? They had the lead until like 8 minutes left in that game. And he said, yeah, they're not playing. They're not good. He basically is having a field day as a Hurricanes fan. He needs to go back to college football.
I do not think McDonough is great on hockey.
Ray Ferraro, on the other hand, the rinkside guy, great. I love him.
I do think that ESPN's hockey play-by-play leaves something to be desired, making McDonough the main guy.
I will say, I'm going to read you a couple.
I liked him better than Buchagras, though. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to read you a couple of posts on X. If Sean McDonough woke up tomorrow and completely lost the ability to speak, it would be positive for me.
Jeez.
Sean McDonough is the worst hockey sports announcer I've ever heard. So, yes, I'm very happy that Game 3 and 4 will be on Turner Sports.
TNT, yeah.
Because I think I like their product a lot more. Also, ESPN needs to figure it out, their sound. Like the mix.
Yeah.
Because nothing was
They've been
better.
having all kinds of technical problems during the playoffs.
But nothing was better NBC sports coverage. How much louder the crowds were in the playoffs. Oh, I love it. I want to go back to it.
The other game on Frozen Pond last night, Oilers 5, Kings 4 in overtime. Leon Draisaitl with the OT winners. The Oilers go up 2-0 on the road in that Western Conference series. Tonight, Game 3 between the Leafs and the Panthers in Florida. Leafs lead that one 2-0. Game 2 in Winnipeg between the Jets and Stars. Dallas with a 1-0 series lead there. That's your playoff roundup. When we come back, our Chicago correspondent, Brendan Dworzinski, tells us why it's such a big deal, why we care so much about which Chicago baseball team the new Pope roots for. That's next on 580 WIBW.
This was not intentional. Chance the Rapper, Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago.
Not intentional at all, but...
Does the Pope have an opinion on Chance the Rapper giving up a career as a great burgeoning rap star to be a wife guy?
Has the Pope ever listened to acid rap?
Did you see the Pope there's a video surfacing from like the 2005 World Series?
I'm looking at it right now.
That's going
He was
around
there.
today. So, obviously, yesterday, we learned who the new Pope was. And for the first time ever, the Pope is American. Pope is a gentleman named Robert Prevost. Prevost or Prevost?
I've been saying Prevost, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. He's Pope Leo the 14th now.
Yeah.
It's so easy when somebody says, hey, I would like you to call me this now, to just do it.
You
as
know
it turns out, it's just really easy. When they say, hey, please refer to me as this thing now, you just do it.
Yeah.
That's how easy that is for everyone out there.
You know people in Dalton, Illinois are calling him Pope Bob, though.
Oh, yes. No,
Yeah.
he's definitely Pope Bob to everybody who, like, I don't know, sat in the bleachers at a baseball game with him. Anyhow, so the Pope is from Chicago. He is an alumnus of Villanova University. Huge day for the Big East.
Huge big.
And initially, the reporting was the Pope was a Cubs fan, to the point where on the famous Wrigley Field marquee, a message was posted that said, hey, Chicago, he's a Cubs fan. Apparently, that was not true. The Pope's brother. What a thing to be. The Pope's brother.
Coming this fall to
Florida.
ABC.
There's going to be all kinds of Pope spinoffs. Joining One Chicago next year. Like we said, you go Med, Fire, PD, Pope. The Pope's brother corrected the record. And that's how you know it was important, right?
Yeah.
That the Pope's brother got on record like, hey, real quick, just so we're clear, he's not rooting for those North Siders. He's not rooting for those Cubby Bears. No. He's a Sox fan.
Listen, I will tell you this. I'm a Cubs fan. I've been a Cubs fan my whole life. We were talking about this on the show the other day that I have no beef with the White Sox. I was really into White Sox baseball for a few years when they were good when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember the entire 1 through 9 for that season, 2005.
Shout out
Aaron
to
Rowan.
Shout out to Jurassic Carl Everett.
What a guy. But anyway, so I'm a Cubs fan, but there is absolutely a well-earned set of stereotypes that the Cubs are North Side, money, the suburban kids love the Cubs, and the White Sox are the
liberal arts degrees.
Yeah, the White Sox are the hardened, working-class, blue-collar team. And those stereotypes are not completely off base. I will put it that way. Coming from a lily white, middle to upper middle class suburb, yeah, I will tell you that's true. So there's definitely a belief that, like, hey, he clearly supports the poor and the meek because he supports the Chicago White Sox.
Yes.
There is certainly something to that. I'm not going to lie, man. Seeing video of the man who is now the Pope at U.S. Cellular Field circa 2005 is crazy.
Yeah, so this video has been circulating on Blue Sky for the last, half hour. So this just got out on YouTube. It is not the 9th inning of Game 1 of the 2005 World Series. Bobby Jenks is 1 out away from securing a 5-3 White Sox win.
I love Bobby Jenks.
And the camera pans to the stands, and there he is, the man who would be Pope.
This has made it to Wikipedia, by the way. A recording of the Fox Sports broadcast of this game, posted May 9th, 2025, appears to show Robert Prevost, the future Pope Leo XIV, in the stands with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
This is like that.
That's crazy.
It's like that Mark Jackson basketball trading card that has the Menendez brothers in the back sitting courtside, except like the complete opposite.
By the way, the White Sox won this game 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
Former Royal Jermaine Dye and one of my personal favorite players of all time, Joe Creedy, hit a home run in that game.
Joe Creedy.
I loved Joe Creedy, man. He ruled.
Joe the Nicene Creedy.
Got to do that with the Chris Berman voice.
The Nicene Creedy. Not as good at it as you are.
So I've had a lot of practice. No, like someone in the replies on this Blue Sky post, like, this is the first Pope to have an opinion on Scott Podsednik. But true. Yes. This man has uttered the phrase, go get second base, Scotty Pods. That absolutely has happened. It's incredible. And I saw a picture today. Ben Bradley, who's been a long time TV anchor and reporter in Chicago for a couple different networks, posted a picture of the now Pope at a restaurant called Aurelio's in Chicago. It's a local chain. There's, I don't know, half a dozen of them. and he has been to the original. Just a picture of him with like the owners and some other people. He and I have each ordered the deep dish cookie. Like, incredible.
To have the same life experiences
as the Pope.
The Pope, His Holiness.
And again, like I said yesterday, I am not Catholic, so this is not going to have a large impact on my life, all things considered. But like, man, he's like, we've been to the same places. Like, he's been to a white hen pantry before.
Yeah, you are maybe not more than like 2 or 3 degrees removed from the Pope.
It is also like truly incredible, like, that we're having a discussion about his sports leanings. I said it earlier on the show. Like, I have always wondered, what is the life like for a gentleman who becomes the Pope? Like, were you born, doing the rosary? Like, again, I'm not Catholic. Pardon me if I'm not using the right phrasing here. Like, or saying Hail Marys or whatever. I have no idea. This was just a very holy, righteous man who also happened to, like, listen to Hawk Harrelson.
Yeah, like lived a very
and like a good tavern style pizza.
He was a high school physics teacher. He attended a Big East school.
He's got a math degree.
Yeah, his college degree is in math.
In 2016, I mentioned this yesterday. He was retweeting things about Nova winning the national title. He was showing respect to Jay Wright, and probably disrespect to Kyle Neptune.
So if you believe in divine intervention now and again playing a role in what happens on our fields of play, you got to feel pretty good about the Knicks right now because they got all those Nova guys.
Yep.
And you got to feel maybe better about the Bears than you have in the last 30-odd years. I bet there have been Bears fans for years saying, man, it's going to take some level of divine intervention for the Bears to ever win the Super Bowl again. Well, now, the Pope's from Chicago.
I was going to say, that's a little unfair now.
Call in a
what
favor.
The heck, guys? Although I did see a package.
What do you think the Pope thinks of the Bill Swirsky Superfans sketch on SNL?
I'm sure he's laughed.
A thing that you can ask.
I'm sure at some point in his life, he has at least under his breath gone, Ditka. This is what you do. I'm not even a Bears fan, but that's what you do.
We got to take a timeout. We'll come back. We will switch gears to a different American League Central team. The Royals and the Red Sox opening their series tonight. We'll preview game 1 next on 580 Sports Talk. It's inadvertent because these run on a rotator, but this is like the perfect C Block Friday bed.
This is the newest addition, by the way, to our sound beds rotation.
Amazing it took us this long to get What's Golden by the Jurassic 5.
Yeah, I love Jurassic 5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna trim some of the fat.
We could stand to,
Like,
frankly.
look, no disrespect to Joe Walsh, but maybe it's time to.
I
Well,
feel like
maybe we
hold
could add Joe Walsh. I don't think we've heard Funk 49 in a while.
I feel like I haven't heard any Rush lately, unless it all plays during the first hour, in which I'm never on.
That might be. Yeah, I mean, it's like a 70-song file almost at this point.
Yeah.
It is very big. I think we might need to trim some of it. I can't take all the classic rock out because I like classic rock.
Sure.
But we've added a number recently, but it takes like 2.5 weeks to get to everything.
Yeah, it does. No, it really does. It's one of those things where you say you're going to do it, and it's like, it's
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
I haven't imported, though, some of the like real Brendan coded stuff. Like, I have not put in the Yingwie Malmsteen song I have saved.
no death grips yet.
No, not in the station computer. On my personal account, I do have one ready to go, but no death grips yet. I haven't put Symptom of the Universe by Black Sabbath in yet, even though that goes so hard. I have, I think, multiple cuts of various Stone Cold Steve Austin theme songs.
I have one that I'll play next week because we're giving something away next week on the air.
Sure. Yeah, we got big contest week next week.
And I have an instrumental version of Songs of the South.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, we're gonna have tickets to get. We're gonna have concert tickets to give away next week. We're gonna have some. I believe it's rodeo.
Yeah, Flint Hills Rodeo. Yeah.
Rodeo.
Yeah, I'm fired.
Listen to 580 Sports Talk all next week. Not that you weren't going to anyway. But if you're a Alabama fan, listen.
So there you go on that. Yeah, we'll have some more giveaways next week. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to some Royals baseball tonight. 6:40 first pitch, 6 o'clock pregame. Royals Red Sox game 1 of a 3-game set at the K. Michael Lorenzen going for the Royals tonight against Hunter Dobbins, making his 4th major league start for Boston. Not overwhelming numbers for Dobbins. Got a decent fastball, runs it up to around 95 on average. His breaking stuff has been very bad. Like very bad.
Yeah.
In terms of run value. So gonna see some fastballs, the Royals hitters tonight, I would expect. So got to do some damage on some fastballs against Dobbins. For Michael Lorenzen, the trick is going to be the thing that he has done by and large pretty good job of this season is avoid the hard contact and avoid the big inning against. He did not do that his last time out. Caused his ERA to jump over 4 and his fielding independent number to jump over 5 because he gave up all those home runs in Baltimore. But he didn't get to face the White Sox, bring his ERA down a little bit as a confidence boost. So, but Lorenzen still, even given the struggles of his last time out when he allowed the 4 home runs in 4 2/3, the 2 starts before that, 6 innings, 1 run. So he's still giving you good 5th starter stuff.
Sure.
And with the length that the Royals have gotten from their starters the last 2 games, with Waka and Bubic both working into the 7th, you could have a quick look on Lorenzen tonight. Like you can play this one out a little bit, be more aggressive about getting him out of there before the 3rd time through the Boston order. And leaning on your middle relief a little bit. You never love to do it to start the series. And again, the Royals are in a spot where they're playing a bunch of games in a row. Yep. But length from your starter gives you the opportunity to have a fairly fresh and rested bullpen to begin the series tonight. And I would like to see the Royals, if the situation called for it, to be aggressive with that tonight and not let those heavy hitters in the middle of the Boston order see too much of Lorenzen.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And again, like we talked about a little bit earlier on, this Boston lineup's got thump. I mean, they really spray the ball all over. One of the best slugging teams in baseball. They hit the ball really hard all over the place. You just have to, I don't know. I don't want to sound defeatist by saying this. You got to stay in the fight. Like you can't let this game get out of hand quickly, because the other thing you've got to consider is you don't want your bullpen to get taxed early, given that you might need them because games will be close. Or, Cole Reagan's as good as he is. He also only went 5 innings last time out against a bad White Sox team. So I am excited about this series. I'm excited about this matchup. Lorenzen has pitched very well recently, which makes me feel pretty good about this. But again, with how good Bregman and Devers and Christian Campbell, how good they, among others, have been this year, you got to stay in the fight. You can't let this game get out of hand early, because frankly, as much as they have played better as of late, I don't have a ton of faith in down by 3 in the 3rd inning, the Royals will make up the difference. I don't know that I trust that as of yet.
Jonathan Indy is going to lead off for the Royals in left field tonight, followed by Bobby Witt Jr. at short. Vinny Pasquantino will DH. Salvador Perez back at first base. Still haven't seen him behind the plate since that hip injury. Maikel Garcia batting 5th at third base. Michael Massey batting 6th at second. Mark Canha's in the lineup tonight, batting 7th and playing right field. A rare off day of late for Drew Waters. Freddie Fermin gets the start behind the plate. He'll bat 8th. Kyle Isbell in center batting 9th. The lineup for Boston tonight: Jaron Duran in left field will lead off, followed by another lefty, Rafael Devers. He is DHing. Alex Bregman is the third baseman. Christian Campbell, the rookie, is at second base hitting cleanup. Wilyer Abreu, another left-handed stick, bats 5th and right. Trevor Story's at shortstop. Abraham Toro is the first baseman, batting 7th. Connor Wong will do the catching. Cedon Rafaela bats 9th in center field.
Real quick, did you see the update on Kyle Wright?
Yeah, a couple of injury updates, and they're not real good ones for Royals pitchers. They're recalling Kyle Wright from his rehab. He only threw 2 innings in his most recent start, had a little bit of discomfort, so they're going to back off him, pump the brakes on him. They're doing the same with Hunter Harvey, who they were really hopeful they could get back some point pretty soon. He had started his throwing progression and felt a little bit of tightness. Not something they're long-term concerned about, but something where they're going to slow their roll on bringing Harvey back to the bullpen. Such a bummer because he was out to a great start this year, and the Royals bullpen's better with a healthy Hunter Harvey, but it looks like that is still, unfortunately, a ways away. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this episode of 580 Sports Talk with the final word. Final word time on 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuis, what do you got?
Yes, Royals are amazing right now. They are doing something that a lot of teams didn't think, or a lot of people didn't think they could do after the start they got off to. And, you know, you look at a team that had a promising season or a look ahead to a promising season like the Orioles. And I know a lot of Orioles fans, and they want everyone fired, cleaned house right now. And the Royals took the different direction and went up instead.
Brendan Dorzinski, final word.
Yeah, I'm still kind of reeling from the fact that both myself and Pope Leo XIV had at one point in 2005 strong opinions on White Sox third baseman Joe Crede. Also have had a tavern style with a deep dish cookie at Aurelio's Pizza in Chicago. And probably at some point, like, wow, that Kirk Heinrich sure is something, huh?
You could ask both you and Pope Leo XIV, hey, how did Ozzie Guillen summon Bobby Jenks from the bullpen? What hand motion did he do?
And the big boy.
You would both know. That is a thing that is shared experience with you and His Holiness.
I'm still not over it, man.
Chicago Pope. It's unbelievable. Final word for me today. I'm excited for this Royals-Red Sox series because it will be a truer litmus test about where this Royals team is than it has been to see them beat up on the Rockies and the White Sox and others during this stretch. For all of the success and all of the winning the Royals have done, they've still struggled to score runs. They're going to have an opportunity, though, to keep some of the good times rolling on offense from their 10-run outburst yesterday against a Boston pitching staff where they're going to see two pitchers they should be able to get after, including Hunter Dobbins tonight. Garrett Crochet will be a different ball of wax tomorrow night, but that's Cole Reagan's night, too. So that should be a great pitching matchup. Royals got to keep the bats rolling to really establish themselves as an American League contender. That does it for us. Royals baseball is next. We're back on Monday from 3 to 6. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan. This was 580 Sports Talk. Good night.